when I saw this article come out about the sticker stuff the other day, I started reading. I went, I don't give a fuck. Right? That's what I said. Because it's going to be different in a year's time. Like, and I'm reading these guys, we tried so hard to get here. You were never guaranteed that money. I am so sorry that we had a prosperous period where we thought that you were never guaranteed that money. Nobody ever told you you were guaranteed that money. And if anybody on a stream anywhere said, oh yeah, qualify for the major, you earn this much, you don't. You don't know how much you're going to earn. If you, as the people right now who are the ones who pay for these stickers, didn't pay for any stickers at the major before, or the major before that, or the major before that, you'd have what happened in TI, where the prize pool started to get less. And then Valve went, well, fuck it, we'll just stop doing this crazy prize pool. Like, they had a $40 million prize pool at one point. Like, you were never guaranteed this money, and your business should not be based off of this money.
Today's HLTV Confirmed episode is brought to you by Skins.com. Skins.com has 0% transaction fees, plus a dedicated instant sell feature when you need cash fast. To start trading, just click login, sign in using your preferred method, and sift through the 50,000 plus skins already listed. Not to mention multiple deposit methods including crypto, bank transfer, Apple Pay, and many more. A profitable trade is merely a few clicks away.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Counter-Strike fans across the globe, welcome back to another episode of HLTV Confirmed. We've had a couple of technical doohickeys to start today's proceedings, which is why we're 5 minutes late. And I need to make a note as we're live to Lucas. If you could sort out the preview, Lucas, I know other things are on fire. That would be greatly appreciated. But things that aren't on fire but are fire, skins.com. Check them out. Head over, peer-to-peer, no fees. One of the sponsors of the show, as well as Stake. Remember to gamble responsibly, everybody. And we're going to be kicking things off with 3 sections here today, guys. We're going to have the recent news. That's where we're going to do our top comment. Prof's going to read some comments from YouTube, and we're going to give away a Vitality jersey thanks to Stake. We're then going to do a segment I'm calling Catfished or Caught Out. There we're going to be doing a What Are the Odds, brought to you by Stake. We'll be, well, I don't want to spoil it now, but it's about the playoffs. All right, it's the playoffs, of Blast Bounty coming up. And then the season ahead, this is going to be the Skinionaire. That's where you, a very lucky user in Kick Chat right now, could win yourself a $50 skin if these two get 5 from 5. It's a pop quiz about some of the things we discussed on last week's show, because I was treating that show as the soft entry to the season because of the online format. Now, we got a couple of things we need to check up on before we get things underway. Striker.
Yes.
Did you really get your wisdom teeth out, or are you lying?
No, I didn't lie.
Looking at your face, you look like you are lying. I don't know. How is there no swelling on your face?
I mean, this is also 5 days ago now, by the way, so it's not that bad. But honestly,
I was out for 2 weeks with my wisdom teeth. I had 4
my
taken
girlfriend
out.
was the same, and she was also preparing me. Like, this is gonna be horrible. Like, prepare for 2 weeks not being able to eat shit. You're gonna have swelling. You're not gonna be able to talk. Your jaw's gonna hurt. I'm like, no.
You got none of that.
Well, I mean, I had to go for a check because it's just like it started being a bit more painful now. Like, literally, third day, I was like, apart from eating, I was like totally fine. So I'm happy.
That couldn't be better. So in the chair,
yeah, I mean,
you didn't get put under.
No. Just
You're saying it so nonchalantly. Like, dude, we had to go see.
Bro, I'm not gonna go out with any gore details, but literally, like, the first tooth went out in like half a second. Literally, it was just like, boop, it's out. I'm like, what just happened? And then the second one was a little bit more of a procedure, but like it still was.
You
like
did
20 seconds or whatever.
He did 2.
I did 2. The bottom two.
Okay.
Yeah,
which are the crazy two? Those are the hard
two. The top
two
2 were horrible. That's the thing. Like, those ones felt a lot like what you were talking about. You know, it's just like they were rooted in like crazy. But that's like 5-10 years ago. I don't remember, even a long time ago. So I changed it a lot.
It depends on how they grow in, because all 4 of mine were what they call impacted, which means they're like growing the wrong way into like your gum or your jaw or something like that. So that you get them taken out for reasons like that. And I was telling you, and it wasn't to scare you. It was just a fact. I would have been in my early 20s or late teens. I forget. It's just while I was on my parents' Medicare in Australia before I was going to have to fucking front the cost to get my wisdom teeth taken out. I went and did all 4 and they put me under, and waking up from it was the worst thing in the world because you wake up, your mouth's fucked, you can't talk, you got blood coming out everywhere, there's nurses, it's bright lights. And I already had a phobia of the dentist. I don't know if I explained this on this show before, but when I was like 11 or 12, my parents took me over to the US with my little sister. And then on the way home, we stopped in Singapore just to break up the trip. So we stopped for a couple of days in Singapore. We stopped there for like maybe 3 days, something like that, just because, it's long flights. It just thought, okay, let's just mix things up. We land in Singapore. First thing we do, go to the pool. And it's just after midday, where in midday it's so humid that it rains every day. Me and the old man with water pistols running around the pool. I fall face first into the pavement, put my 2 front teeth through my front lip. We have a public holiday in Singapore on that day, so we have to get a dentist away from some fucking family meal to come out and do surgery on my teeth, where my dad has to be the dental nurse because it's a public holiday. So my dad's holding the sucker thing in my mouth while the doctor's fixing my front teeth. I'm like 11 years old. Anyway, so dental stuff sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, so none of that. But literally the whole thing took like 20 minutes from like the anesthetic or whatever it is, like, it takes a while for it to start working and all that stuff, so that was literally the longest that it took. Everything else was kind of fine. It's gonna take a while to heal because like the bottom ones tend to be pretty bad in that, like before they're like fully functional and I can eat like normal stuff. Also I had like yogurts and shit because chewing is not exactly easy, but otherwise I'm fully functional.
Okay, great news.
Fantastic intro.
The tooth talk's getting a little bit long in the tooth. Prof, you got anything in the happenings of recent times?
Haven't been to the dentist in a while. Maybe I should, just for a checkup. Yeah, that's probably it. That's it. The other day, I wanted to sleep in. I got someone ringing my doorbell. That's like, I didn't know when, but when someone rings your doorbell out of nowhere while you're sleeping, absolute alertness. Like you're just like jump out of bed as a fucking cat. It's the mailman. I look at the time. It's 7:20 in the morning.
What the?
Yeah.
He's like, you need to sign this. I signed this. I look what it is. It's from the tax office.
I need to pay
more.
Whammy.
I need to pay more money. It was one of the worst days. One of the worst days of my life. Yeah, that's it.
That's the way she goes, though, isn't it? Okay, so that one sucks, Prof. I'm sorry. While you were telling that story, it just made this pop into my head because Bogdan messaged me to collect the MVP medal because for whatever reason they couldn't get it dispatched or whatever. And he was like, "Oh yeah, okay, we're gonna send it to you." And I was like, "Whatever." This was happening in the middle of the day yesterday, and I really haven't been in touch with the world. And then I was out with my partner earlier. We're getting a delivery of some water and different groceries and shit. And the DHL package arrived at the same time. And even when I came into the podcast, I went to her and I said, "Hey, keep your ear out for the DHL package," knowing I already have it. And I've already told Bogdan I have it. So I'm an idiot today, more than usual. Today could be a bit all over the place, everyone. But let's get started. We're 5 minutes late, some tech issues. Lucas is huffing and puffing. Striker is nonchalantly just shrugging off, getting his wisdom teeth out. I'm a moron. Prof has to pay more money. And let's get into the top comment brought to you by Stank, shall we? Let's get the show underway. Okay, Prof, what do we got this week? Or I guess last week, technically.
I guess so, yeah. Opening up with you certainly never got this question, but I thought it was maybe interesting to discuss very, very shortly. So first on from Anthony on Spotify. And it says, how do you recommend people getting to casting CS? Is there currently a way to watch live games without the broadcast? I think as much as this is like obviously a very generic question, you can watch qualifiers and stuff like that. There's a bunch of lower level games that no one really covers or cares about, and also the major stuff you can just pop open and do stuff with. If you don't use the broadcast, there's GoTVs on HLTV when matches are going on, which is always a good place to start. I think it's an interesting angle to talk about is the fact that there are almost no new casters breaking through in like forever in CS.
Who was the last one? Dinko, probably, right? If we're talking like top.
I'm thinking about, if you talk about like the top 4 whatever duos people that do like the big events, it's probably Dinko, right? And he's been around, like his, let's say, first foray was like 2018, right? Or 17 maybe, with the FaZe stuff where they had the caster thing. It was him and Haka that did some stuff on the big stage. But like there's a lot of tier 2 casters, let's say, quotation marks, but no one has really made that jump to be even like in consideration, I feel like. and that's maybe the bigger problem. It's easy to start casting, but like, why have people not been able to make that jump? And I don't think it is because of like gatekeeping, just to be clear. I think just the quality of people on top is higher. So I think that's maybe the angle to think about, even if you want to start casting, like what are you going to bring that's not already there to kind of break through, right?
I think it's hard as well, right? Because if you want to do color commentary, which is what I do, and I understand, I always see the discourse about this on the forums and stuff, and it's quite a funny discourse with people not getting it. But the color commentary is right from the quote unquote expert angle. And unless you're an ex-professional player, your expertise needs to come from another place, right? You need to build some content, do what Launders did, right? Watching all, well, no, maybe not do exactly what Launders did, but you need something to build some credibility of how you view the game and talk about the game, right? He was doing those demo a day type things, which I think, you know, a lot of people could tune into that and watch those games with him and be a part of that. So that's an angle there for the color commentary. With the play-by-play stuff, you need to have like the gift of the gab, right? You need to be able to talk, and a lot of this stuff needs to come to your head immediately. But then getting into casting, this is the hardest part, because a lot of people would ask me this question, or how did you get into it? And my answer is a shit answer, because it's not how I think you would get into it unless you were an ex-professional player, right? So for me, analyst desk and then working up from there. So it always feels like I'm just dismissing the question, but I don't know. I always say to people, maybe get some demos, cast over the demo, maybe try and observe while you're doing it, because observing is also an angle you can go if you want to get closer to broadcast and stuff. You know, there's always, I think there's slots in those type of areas. Casting stuff, it's hard. I think Prof's making a good point there, because a lot of it is also personality driven. Do you have people who want to see you there? It's a subjective discipline.
Some of it is also like you have to have the right voice, right? Not everybody has the voice for it. Like you can train yourself to a certain degree, but you know, at some point it becomes, do people just like the tone of your voice, you know? And that can be tough. That can be tough to overcome sometimes. So if you have a weird voice, might be fighting a tough battle.
I mean, just last thing, I think as much as I said, it's not gatekeeping. A part of it is like the social, political aspect of like, you need to know how to play the game and how to be socially good to be around, because I think a lot of people also miss that. And like, not even, you know, you need to be the funniest guy in the room or anything, but like in terms of how you communicate with your colleagues, with TOs, with all of these things, like some people, at least like stories that I've heard, you know, not doing much talent work, but, you know, here and there. So you hear, you know, other experiences, stuff like that. Like one bad move can set you back years. So like to be smart with that angle as well, I think is very, very important if you want to get into this stuff.
I've never really considered it from the perspective of the newer people coming in and trying to integrate, but it must be pretty daunting, right? Because there's all those social dynamics that are already there and stuff as well. And then there's, it's a tough one.
But also entering like some of the top stuff, right? Like if you're doing even co-streaming like majors and some of these things where people could maybe show themselves, or even RMRs, right? Like that was one of the plays that a lot of people would suddenly start watching, and then people would notice you and all that stuff. But a lot of those avenues are now not even there realistically, because a lot of the co-streaming is way more limited now. You can't just pick up a game and just go cast a lot of the time. You have to have some sort of a deal with the TO, right? Or at least, you know, you have to get in touch with them, and that can be hard because a million people now do it effectively, you know. So like to get into that is it can be difficult. So it's like, it's something that just you have to take into consideration, not to make it sound too daunting, you know, because I think realistically there's always ways for you to try it, to do something, because there's loads of qualifiers, as Prof said, you know, that aren't really, you know, particularly well covered by even the TOs sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And so like you can just pick up a game of a team that you like and go cast it if you want.
Yeah. So one question from Spotify. Thank you, and thank you to everyone that writes there. So we have a few on YouTube. Cree Mouse says, just returned from a long CS break, and I'm here to see Liquid dominate. This was one of the most upvoted ones, and that's funny because I do remember this name, and I haven't seen it around in a long time. So this, I do believe,
just the dupe account. It waited for the right time, Prof.
I do believe this person has legitimately not been around for a long time. So that's cool.
Okay.
This is a long one. The name, so I'll just skip it. I'm writing this comment to bring some attention to the C4 Blast update, as I feel like it's been completely skipped over. It has been. We did not mention it at all. Forgotten about and not talked, blah, blah. It's like the coolest thing maybe ever, but it has some big applications on, and not only is it
Can
like...
we not talk about it?
even on the pro level, some spots, some maps can be affected by it. We did not talk about it. We completely forgot because there's a big break. I think it came out like the day after we made the show, and then we didn't.
And I was
shoot
talking
for
to you
10
guys
days.
about it in the chat.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
with the okay, and then I went and talked about it on Talking Counter with Jason. So you can see how I missed the point of talking about this. Well, we can talk about it now. So for people who missed it, Valve have updated the way that the bomb works. I have these images available actually. We can actually spend a bit of time on this if we want, right? It's up to you guys.
I mean, I don't think it's like that big of a deal in terms of gameplay related stuff. Like, of course, it affects certain things, you know. But for me, I kind of get the idea that it's super cool because I think visually and like the feeling that you get out of it is actually really cool. So, like I said, updated to the game. You know, outside of that, you know, how much it updates, how much it affects where you die and all these things. Like, I don't know if it's that exciting to talk about.
It's just a small refresher. Like it adds a little new element, something new for people to learn, which is always good on like the highest level where, you know, the small percentages dictate stuff.
Let me see if you can bring that up, Luke. Can we share the screen of what I got there now? Is that fine? I didn't ask him. I just did it. The other thing I will say with this though, I would like it if the guns would get blown further.
Didn't I see this? I saw this already.
Yeah, I mean, he sent us some pictures
in the chat.
Yeah,
It was in the chat. Okay.
Yeah. So these, once they get pulled up, these are essentially, you can generate these from the game. Everybody, this is something that you can put it. You go into your own server of the map. You put in SV_cheats, and there's a command. I actually tweeted it out so you could find it on my Twitter. You go in and you put that command and it'll generate this screenshot. I don't know if, oh, there you go. It's up. So this one's for cache, right? So wherever you plant in the white, it doesn't actually have an impact on the blast. The blast is just set every time. So you plant in the plant zone, which is the white, and then anything in the yellow, you're dead. And then anything in the red, as it starts to fade out, you're going to lose obviously less and less HP. So if you're in the gray, you're not losing anything. So I think when you look at some of these examples, it's a map by map basis of where you would have these conversations. But if you look at on the left side here with the B site, if you are deep in checkers, right? Not in checkers, in sunroom, closest to the B site, you won't take any damage there right in that corner. So there becomes these more ironed out and well understood for everybody in terms of post bomb explosion safe zones or not, right? You could play that if you're saving a gun to do some damage financially. That I can flick through. These exist on all the maps. You can go and get them yourself. Right now, we're looking at Mirage. Right here, you can see Nuke. Nuke, the one is because now if you're on the top site and the bomb's planted on the lower site, you're not going to take any damage, right? So that changes the way that these end rounds are going to play out. I
think that's good, by the way, because I fucking hate Nuke every time, especially applying it. And just like you have to go in such weird places on Nuke because, you know, regardless of where you are, you're going to probably die. Because if you're right about the bomb, you would just die.
Yeah.
Or right below, you know. So there's only so many places you can go, and it's a long way sometimes.
People would have seen some of these playing out throughout the bounty games and the casters they were talking about. For example, Inferno A site, you can see over towards Ruins. There's a full safe zone there that you can live in. It's because essentially it's about the amount of walls and corners now, right? It's not just going to do the damage regardless of what's there. It's going to take into account the environment, and that's why I think there's one on Ancient that's quite interesting. That's Dust 2 here. That's Ancient. So if you look at this, you can live in like the wood area over towards B. As long as you're on 100 HP, right? You can
also
live there.
behind the box and like
towards, the little box
towards ramp. Yeah.
Yes. So just some of these areas that are quite key. Or if the bomb's planted on A, you can live in red, and it's on a time delay, right? Bomb goes off, and then a split second later, you'll actually get hit by the blast, depending on how far away you are. One thing that I mentioned a little bit earlier was to do with the gun. So I have to test. Me and Rush said we were going to test, and we didn't test. But we tested when it first came out, and when the bomb went off, the guns didn't move with the bomb. Now, either they adjusted it a little bit, or they haven't adjusted it at all. But either way, I don't think that we get the same amount of movement on the guns as we did before. Now, is that a good or a bad thing? I don't know. I think about Dust 2. If an AWPer dies in CT spawn or on that CT ramp, a CT hangs around over towards like outside B, the bomb goes off, it blows it his way, and he can pick it up for his AWP for the next round. Like it will create a different set of circumstances if it's not like that, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad change, right? It just means it's a different change. So just some of those things to keep in mind for people. But yeah, some interesting stuff. What do you guys think of this in general? I know, Striker, you said you think it looks cool, but Prof, you got anything with this? Anything exciting?
I think the fact that even at the highest level, like when you commentate the game, sometimes you'd be like, he died there. Like if that's the situation that existed previously, then something should have changed. I think that it was just so not clear to the user where he would die or not. So I think an update like this is a good one. It's just like quality of life, and it looks cool. So
I guess the mechanic though that you mentioned there, the knowing if you're going to die or not, because the argument, and I made a tweet about this, but the argument becomes, right, are we dumbing down the game? And that's just from the modern player, and that's been the case. Like I went on a bit of a spiel about this. It's just this has been a case for me in every iteration of Counter-Strike in terms of its updates, in whether it be, Source,
the mini-map,
or CS. Exactly. There's so many factors like that. So it's just a slow drip feed. And if everybody has that info and it increases the way that the jewels are being taken or the understanding it, then that's a good thing, right? Because there's a higher skill ceiling, or at least understanding in those areas. So I don't want to get into that argument because I think it's a shit argument.
It's not a fun discussion, I think.
Yeah.
So fuck that.
Yeah.
Just the last one, and the winning comment from Ella Hazenfox.
Okay.
This feels so outdated right now because the World Cup feels like it ended 7 years ago. But yeah, the World Cup made me realize how we're so lucky as Counter-Strike fans to have had the best major playoffs in recent memory. Like literally any map from Spirit, G2, Vitality, Falcons was more entertaining than the World Cup final. Fuck, I love Counter-Strike. Fair.
That's
Agreed.
it.
Agreed.
That's
Also,
that's it.
fuck round robin that is like prevalent in all of sports everywhere. We're way past that.
But that's it. We're able to push back against those things. That's why I always hated the grab to let's be like sport. It's like, well, no, let's be like something better, something more entertaining, shall we? Obviously, we don't have the physical element, but yeah, okay. Well, Ella has a fucks, hasn't fucks. Ella hasn't fucks. Right? That's pretty close.
Yeah.
Books.
Well, who knows?
Well, congratulations. Reach out to fantasy@hltv.org and we'll get you your Vitality jersey thanks to Snake. Okay, that's the start of the show.
There used to be a player called Fox.
Yeah, we did.
Everybody was calling Fox.
Didn't we have a team?
That was a French
Wasn't
guy.
he the guy that went to E-League and then he had to change his name?
I think so, yeah.
There was
so
a
funny.
team that was called like something along those lines.
What's his
Anyway, I
name?
don't really remember. It was a long time ago. A long time ago. Let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? Let's jump into some of the recent news. So, as we all know, Blast Bounty Season 2 2026 is currently underway. It's going to have the LAN portion kicking off tomorrow. However, because of the way the VRS works and the tournament operations, what's it called? TOR, Tournament Operations
Rulebook?
Guideline.
Requirements.
So VRS, TOR, acronym here, acronym there. Anyway, information about the events and formats, etc., location. Well, it's a good idea to get that out early. That's kind of the way that Valve are looking at things. So regarding Bounty in 2027, did you guys take a look at this? Because I stopped doing this for a while with formats and invites. I went, nah, we'll talk about it close to the event. And then we get close to the event and we never talked about it. So when this news is kind of in the headlines, is probably when we're going to talk about it.
I legitimately did not see. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let me lay it on you. I'll lay it on you. Blast Bounty Season 1 2027, running from January 11 to January 24th, a 14-day footprint. It's the first event of the season, which overlaps with PGL Bucharest. We'll get in that in a minute. The VRS invite date of this event is November 2nd, same as the major to close down this year. There is 1.65 in total offerings, million. So that's 1,650,000 in total offerings. Now, I'm going to need Striker to correct me if I get any of this wrong, because from what I understood, there's 1.25 in prize money, which is broken up over 4 different avenues of prize money. And then there is $400,000 in acceptance fees. So if you put...
I don't see the specifics. I'm just like have the overarching article that I wrote about it just to refresh my memory.
Well, I used your article. So...
maybe we're talking about a different article, but okay.
Are you talking about the Blast 2027 stuff?
Blast announces revamp 2027 circuit. Maybe I'm just looking at the wrong
no, there is a new one. Details revealed for Blast Bounty Season 1 2027.
Maybe that was... Okay.
I completely missed this because there's so much.
No, I know.
So much
I know
Bounty
what the
news
are,
came out.
The specific one.
In yeah. Okay. Please continue.
Okay. So by my mathematical equation, I have it at 1.65, and that's because 400,000 in acceptance fees. So that's a decent amount of money for this event. Now, it's only 16 teams now, and it's on LAN for the whole thing. It's not going to have the online portion. It's not going to be 32 teams. They're still going to have some drafting mechanisms if anyone cares about that, as far as that goes. But we're not going to get into that. I'll leave that gimmick until a little bit later. So 16 teams, 4 playoff spots. Let me try again. 16 teams broken up into 3 stages, okay? We got the play-in stage, we got the last chance qualifier stage, and we got the playoff stage. And then you've got 4 teams who will make it from the play-in stage, which is 4x4 groups. So the winner of each group will go to the quarterfinals. Second and third of each group will go to the last chance qualifier, and the 4th place of each group will be eliminated. The last chance qualifier will be made up of 8 teams, and that's just head-to-head matches. And the 4 teams who make it from there will make the 8-team playoffs for the 8-team single elimination best-of-3 bracket ending in a best-of-5. There's a bunch of other factors to keep in mind here.
Everything is on LAN.
And everything is on LAN. It's all on LAN.
Everything is on LAN. Okay.
So there's a few things to keep in mind. They've got the acceptance fees, which I spoke about, 400,000 in acceptance fees. So this is on the date of the invite. So as of November 2nd. Now, this is where I need Striker's clarification for me here. And we had this conversation before on the show with the blast format, and I don't know if we ever got to the bottom of it, but let's try today.
Okay.
So here it says 60,000 to teams ranked 1 to 4. So let me run a hypothetical situation here. One where it works and one where I'm going to question if it doesn't. So I'm ranked number 1 team. Blast go knock, knock, knock with an email. I didn't know emails made noise like that these days. And I open it up and I go, yeah, I'll come and play your event. And I'm the ranked 1 team, which means just for going, I get $60,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's say that it works out like this. Emails come out, they go to the top 4 teams in the world. Let's say that at that point in time, it's Vitality, Falcons, Spirit, FURIA, right? Just for argument's sake. All of them skip, and team number 5 is Mouse, and Mouse get the invite. Do they get the $60,000 acceptance fee as they are not technically VRS ranked 1 to 4? They're VRS ranked 5? So how does that work?
Yeah, so technically the way that I would read it, and like if I was really pedantic and I wanted to keep them to their word, I would say what you're saying is like what they should keep to is if you're rank 5, if you're actually rank 1 to 4, regardless of within the competition that says yes, you just get 60,000 only if you're VRS rank 1 to 4 on the VRS on the invite date, right? But the way that they've done it before, when they had the acceptance fees in the first place, they just gave it to them.
Regardless.
To the top 4, they give the
okay.
highest bracket. To the next 4, they give the next one, or whatever it was at the time. I don't think it was exactly the same, but you know what I mean. It was ranked 1 to 4 within the teams that actually said yes. So I would assume that that's how it works now, because then, you know, obviously they could just keep a bunch of money because they're probably not going to get the same amount of teams as they did before, right?
Okay, so the first 4 teams who accept as we move down the ranking will make 60,000 per head. Teams 5 to 8, so the next 4 will make 30,000 per head, and teams 9 to 16, that is the last 8 teams of the event, will make 5,000 per head. So that's where 400,000 of the 1.65 goes.
Yeah, some of it is actually going to be really significant money, you know, it's because it's going to go to some of the lower teams.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about some of the sticker stuff soon, which will also play into some of this decision making. So everyone hold their horses. There's a bounty function as well. Bounties on offer over the course of this event is 320,000. The player prize money, which is so weird how the player prize money portion is divvied up, is 180,000, and it's on placements of the play-in group. So first in groups gets 30, fourth in groups gets 5, eliminated in the last chance qualifier gets 10, and then I think if you made it to the playoff bracket, it meant that you must have earned a minimum of 15 from bounties or something along the journey, but it's not included there, so I didn't include it in that section.
This is going to be such a clusterfuck for them to try to explain and make any sort of storylines out of it, because it sucks. It sucks so much.
If you go to their rule book, I just went to their rule book to like
I'm looking at the
stuff.
tweets that they put out and the images, and I'm so
Lost.
Confused.
There's so much going on.
It took me a long time to even begin to
because you're
understand
saying like there's 8 teams in the playoffs, but for the picture it says week 2 playoffs 12 teams, but that's because they I guess for week 2 the last chance qualifier is also part of the playoffs. Yeah. And why is it called play-ins? Why is it not just called group stage, which is something we always use? I don't know, but that is essentially the group stage is week 1, the 16 teams. It's there's a lot going on.
There's one point here I missed, Prof, and this is the last bit of money because this is huge. So I just want to reiterate. Bounty, 320,000. That's the prize section. Player prize money, 180,000. Team org prize money, 750,000. Is this the push? Is this the play? Is this how they're going to try and battle against PGL Bucharest, which we assume most teams would probably prefer to go to, right? We know they had to change their format. They had to move it off of online. It had to go to LAN. It has to be valuable, right? If I look at this event, it's convoluted, it's confusing. But in terms of a standpoint from a viewer, it's now on LAN. From a standpoint of getting to watch the games, some teams will play 2. Most teams will play 3 games at a minimum. Some will play 4, right? And some will play more. But, you know, you're getting a bit more of a ballpark as opposed to a single elimination. The way the prize money seems distributed, especially with the 750 for Team Org prize money, seems like it's trying to incentivize the orgs going to a blast event. But this is the problem. You're overlapping with PGL Bucharest, where their event is only 8 days. It's Swiss best of 3 with an 8-team playoff bracket. They have $1 million worth of offerings, right? So you're losing out on those acceptance fees and stuff. But here's another qualm, and one that doesn't matter in modern Counter-Strike, apparently. But PGL Bucharest VRS invite day is on October 5th. Blast bounties is November 2nd. Yeah. So, right, you're going to have teams who are...
oh, this is... There you go, actually. This is something that that's a kind of a callback to the last episode, or I think it was the last episode I was talking about. Like, I'm not sure why PGL set this up this way. Well, if you look at it further, they've actually set it up this way for their entire circuit for the next year, at least for the tournaments that we've so far seen announced, which is like the first 3 or 4 that they have on the calendar for 2027.
So you mean early? You mean early?
Yeah, they have like 3.5
early VRS
months,
invites.
Kind of a consistent 3.5 month lead up to with the invite date. And I mean, look, you literally just hit the nail on the head with why, which is, you know, to get the teams as early as possible, so that, you know, teams that maybe aren't going to be sure about like whether they should say yes or not, they will definitely say yes because they don't know what's going to be where they're going to be in 3.5 months.
Can't they're going to be pull out though?
I mean, look, they have. I think they've reintroduced the punishments again in PGL because of some of these situations that happened. So I think from next year, from some of these events, they can or they will withdraw invites from the next event. You know, if you say no, or if you say yes and then withdraw.
Less likely that people will be doing that, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, good, because we needed that.
But this is, I think, to highlight like the difference between the player prize money and the team prize money is insane. Like that disparity is not. It's quite off the standard. I'm just like jumping through.
ESL do it with smaller events. Like if you look at Beijing, for example, like if you look at a more exotic event,
EPL is also like quite heavy.
Yeah, whereas Krakow and Cologne are more player prize money because they know that the players are going to go to those events.
Need to do some math because I don't. There's
a lot
no
of it is not like 50-50 like a lot of the events, because EPL is just very ESL is just very dependent, but like event dependent.
But that's an interesting direction, and
better
it'll
format,
probably.
Though.
No. I mean, in terms of watching this overall, like we're kind of, let's say, nitpicking how things are going to work. I think it's definitely an improvement. Like less teams, but more, how would I say, stacked in terms of competition, more relevant games. I mean, you can just compare it to this one. It's like, okay, Falcons are out. Are they actually good or bad? Like they lost one game. It's the first game of the season. You kind of want to see more than, you know, they played one game and they're out.
Online.
I think it sucks for Blast, realistically, like the results of this bounty, that they're like, they already are struggling to get good teams, and then they lose all of them, most of them in like the first fucking game, not even the second game, not even 2 games out of them.
But so it's self-inflicted, right? It's kind of hard to feel bad for them.
It's decisions made, obviously, that they couldn't change yesterday. They had to change them a long time ago because of how the rules work now. But overall, I think it will be better. But will it be better? Depends on, you know, again, if the teams that come to compete are good or not. Otherwise,
that's the question. Is this right? Is this enough of a competitive format and offering with the prize pool for you as a? Let's just assume that you're a top team. Let's say you're a top 10 team to go to the Blast event over the PGL event, right? And again, I know you answered this one as well, Striker. This time I won't forget, I promise. But we were asking about PGL events next year because we didn't know if they were going to be studio or arena events, right? And that's a big factor. Now, this Blast event won't be. It's in Malta, so it'll be a small crowd. Is the PGL Bucharest event going to be in a venue? I remember asking you this.
That's a studio.
Okay, so then they're on equal footing that way. It's just that PGL's event is only 8 days versus Blast, which is 14 days. Blast are offering more in terms of acceptance fees and prize money. Format, about the same, really, isn't it? Right? You're playing 3 best of 3s at a minimum.
Yeah,
In
pretty similar.
studios. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of where it lies, I guess. What would you guys pick, Strike, if you were picking, or well, maybe not. If I don't know. Actually, if you were picking, what would you pick and why?
It's tough sometimes because I think like a lot of it is going to come down to the fact that a lot of teams have already kind of committed to PGL that they will, because they're like year-long incentive structures just better, but I assume they will have some leeway to skip, right? So I think it's really good to actually go for, let's say, a top 8 to top 10 team to go to one of these blast one, because you know you're not going to have the competition there, you know. So like ultimately what competition is going to be there should drive a lot of the decision making, or at least your prediction of what the competition is going to be there is going to be like there, because realistically, as you said, you know, the differences in the incentives are maybe not going to be super massive between the two events. Either you get it through the prize money club share or you through the acceptance fees. Like both of them kind of offer a lot of that on the side to the actual prize money, right? So I don't necessarily think that drives a big difference. The big advantage that PGL used to have was that they ran everything in Swiss, which was the best format in terms of getting as many points out of it as possible. But as you said, you know, you're going to get equal amount of games
in a weird format,
probably.
but you're going to get them. Yeah.
You should be able to get the same amount of games realistically from the bounty system, right? So that doesn't really, that's not really a conversation. So it's really about what other teams you expect there as well.
Do you think so though? Is because if let's say that the field was split, let's just say we did a zipper, right? We just did a zipper of how the teams went. So we had 1, 3, 5, right? Yeah. And then we had 2, 4, 6, and we just went that way. And we just had some go to Blast and we had some go to PGL. Does it matter?
I just don't think that's going to happen. I just think PGL is going to be overwhelmingly better.
Okay, with just better showing of teams.
What, sorry?
Just better showing of teams. Yeah. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm just checking that because all you've said is the only factor is if other good teams go.
No, I'm not saying the only one. I'm just saying that that's going to be the
only one that matters.
Yeah, because ultimately that's the, like, look, because some of them are obviously going to have to look at which events they're going to skip, right? Because I think they are still able to skip 2, right? But let's say, you know, the 2 they're going to skip are probably going to be the 2 that overlap with Blast, because you want to go to Blast, right? Not that you're just going to skip everything and not play anything in that time. So it just depends on how the calendar works out and which ones work the best for you as well from that aspect. You know, what's better to attend, because realistically both of them are European. Both of them you get a similar amount of games out of, you know, both of them you get a lot of money on the side. I would have to look into the exact figures, like what it would work out at the bare minimum and all these things, you know. So I can't speak to that super in detail, but at least, you know, from what you get out of it, then it depends how far you can go, right? Because that's down to the competition. So I think some of the teams that are going to be, you know, more about let's extract as much value out of this as possible, they're probably going to think, you know, maybe let's skip PGL and let's see what the invite list looks like there, and then just go to Blast.
Yeah, okay. Because I was thinking, I was being very close-minded. I was thinking event at a time, but you got to keep in mind immediately after Bucharest and Bounty end, within the next couple of days, Krakow starts, and then Krakow ends, and then 5 days later, Cluj starts. So and then Cluj ends. And
like realistically, everyone will go to one or the other exactly because Krakow is straight after, you know. So nobody will want to go dry into Krakow without any sort of matches beforehand, right? So like we will see all of the teams at one or the other.
Okay. All right. I didn't want to spend too much time on this. It was just interesting to me seeing a format change. And I like talking about formats. And this is a better format. And normally I only say bad things about Blast, but this is a better format than the online format. So good stuff.
Oh, one thing. I didn't actually say one thing. It is fucking 1 week less. PGL, sorry.
Yeah, not.
Yeah,
it is a week
days versus 8 days.
It is a week.
So, yeah.
It is almost a week shorter, which is a big. You know, that's also a big thing.
For sure, 100%. Okay, we done with this one? We can come back to it at the end of the season or the start of the next one. Once we start hearing more. Okay, another one in case you missed it, and if you bought tickets, you might want to hear this. So the Esports World Cup is taking place in Paris at the moment with all the other games. Counter-Strike is going to be starting in about 2 weeks' time. It's a little bit less than that if you consider the open qualifier, Did you get any figures, Striker, on how many teams are confirmed for the Open qualifier?
No, not yet. I'm not. Yeah, still it feels like very up in the air about like which teams are going to go. I don't think there's any world we're going to get max capacity. I don't think we're going to get 128.
Pretty
I
good,
think
bro.
half is very realistic though.
Half's good.
I think half is realistic. Don't know for sure yet, but we'll see soon enough, I guess, because it's starting in like a little bit over a week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one figure I did get, which is, well, we can get to that later, like as we go into this into the change arena.
Lucas paid by Saudi money just playing this trailer. Never in my life did I see him pull up a trailer unannounced for no reason.
I'm just saying, does Lucas pay attention when we're talking? Like, I couldn't believe it. I saw it pop up and go, is Dimitri doing it or something? What's going on?
Bro was like freelancing for Blast last week. Now he's like on the EWC salary. Next year, who knows? Fucking, he's gonna be CEO of Riot.
Farm that. Get your bag, Lucas. But anyway, we do need to tell people, especially the audio-only listeners. So for the grand final of the EWC, it is going to move venue, which they're in the Paris Expo Porte de
Versailles.
Fucking French words, man. They're as hard as any other word that's not an English word. That's where it's going to be for the group stage and the open land portion, right? Wait, no, it's not. It's going to be... Anyway, you'll be able to spectate, right?
Yes.
In that expo, you'll be able to spectate from the 19th to the 22nd. Then on the 23rd, which is the grand final day, we're going to move into the Accor Arena, which is where the Blast TV Paris major was. It's really hard to get figures of how many people were in that arena because... I know this figure. It was about 12.
I asked about it.
What was it?
As in, you mean how many people can get into the expo thing, or the the arena thing?
I meant the arena.
Oh, okay.
In Paris, yeah, the Paris major, he means.
Yeah, but it was somewhere upwards of 10. Somewhere there for sure.
Yeah, this is the thing, because when you go to search it, what a lot of TOs do is I don't know why they do this. I think it's just for sheer numbers, and they think it's cool, but they'll be like, we had 50,000 people come through over the course of the weekend. It's like, well, how many people were in the venue for one given day watching one game? That's the number we want. The number we want is how many bums were in seats as that grand final, semi-final, quarterfinal were played. I don't give a fuck how many people went through over the course of a fucking weekend. Like, and I'll tell you count
every person 4 times because they're there on 4 days, you know. So
yeah,
like,
but I'll tell you,
it's unfortunately it's an event thing, and it's so annoying.
But it's so dumb. Like, why would you as a sponsor even give a fuck about that figure? Oh, they had 50,000 people come over the course of a weekend. No, how many people were there?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, they do this for festivals. It's like, 160,000. Bro, if there's 160,000 there, everyone would die. Like, there's like 20 to 30,000 people times 5 days. And 70% is people that went to every day. So, like, realistically, there was 60,000 unique visitors. But I don't know why this is a thing. It is a thing, and you never know anything with these numbers. But yeah.
12,000 is the figure that I roughly got. So if it's something around the similar capacity that EWC are able to pull off, we already knew that this season of events is going to be quite limited, especially in arena events. And this one is $2 million. It has a 32-team billing with 128 team potential to play the open LAN, and then now it finishes in a big arena like this for the final day due to popular demand. They're saying people were loving the tickets, so this event is going to be a big one for this season, and we're going to get into it next week when we have all the time for it. But it's just the fact that they're doing this. It's good because of the. Oh, didn't I allude to it last episode?
Yes, it was.
I did.
Yeah,
okay.
you did. Left us on a bit of a cliffhanger.
Sorry,
I mean, I think it was obvious that something was going to happen. I didn't know that was going to be just the grand final. This is not something that happens that often. I think it's also
rare.
a bit. Yeah. I think it's a bit scary from a production side to go in for one game. Essentially, maybe there's a show match or something before, but just because you know how it is, the first day in an arena is always there's some issues most of the time.
I don't know. Let me check. You keep going.
There's something else, some other game there, like at the same time. Maybe like Saturday they play another game or something. Is that possible?
Maybe. One thing to also note that when you go to buy tickets, you can see that it's a 360 arena, and there's actually some like it's just the seating on the concourse, not the concourse, the
like the first level,
the rafters, let's say. No, both levels, but there's also a little batch on the floor of seats, which is interesting. Most of it is sold out. There's like few tickets left.
Yeah, I saw
be
there was
surprised if
only
it's
two
360.
different tiers of tickets for that day, I think.
But also interesting, the bronze tickets, 24 euros.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. I was
That's
looking at
super
it.
cheap.
And even
That's-
the gold ones are like 60 or something. It's nothing crazy.
I'd be well, maybe it is 360. The mock-ups I saw, and this was a while ago now, weren't 360, but maybe it is 360 now.
Yeah.
And I was looking because I thought another game was played in the Accor Arena for EWC's grand final, but maybe that's another thing. I should really fucking pay more attention to when people tell me this info. I should write it down.
I
But when
mean, either
you should
that
write it
or they
down.
just used like half. I mean, I can.
So what
mean,
I
half the
wanted to
arena.
say, what I
Yep.
wanted to say is like I asked about the capacity for the expo part,
Yeah, what's
and I
that?
was surprised to hear it's 7,000.
Yeah, but it's a massive space.
It is, but still, like for an expo hall to have 7,000 capacity, that is a fucking huge space.
Yeah.
That is big. That's like Katowice level audience. You know, like I know that people don't really know what Katowice is like, and it's like it's super high up, but it's not really that big of a space. But it is a lot of people.
Well, 7,000 is like the top. Like that's more than, let's say, 50% of like arenas or whatever, or like
Yeah.
on par.
It's like
something
bigger
like
than let's say Cluj. I think has like 5, something like that. You know, so like you can kind of compare it to that.
I look, I think the problem that we have here is, well, it's not it's just one day, so I don't even know how that's going to be. It's kind is it cool? It is cool. It's cool to be in a bigger venue.
Cool, like for it to be like for the grand finale, right? To be
Yeah.
in the biggest space possible. I think it is cool to like have like this ramp up, right? So I mean, it's not bad. It would have been better to have the whole playoffs there, but as far as this goes, why not?
I was much more excited about the format and the amount of teams and the open land qualifier and all of that. This, which is cool. I don't want to. This is nice.
I mean, look, it's way cooler than if it was in Saudi Arabia. We can at least agree
sure.
on that because there would have been like 300 people, not 7,000.
And also
plus,
compared to like, I know 7,000 for the expo space, that's great. But then the jump up and then more of an arena and everything along those lines. Like, so
like it's an actual event now. Like before, of course, like every team cared about it, but the people didn't really care about it because, yeah, it's like we're faking audience and like whatever, all that stuff. And then now it's we're actually gonna have people caring about the game in the arena now. Whoa.
yeah, well, it's a not when you put it like that, it's a great. Well, that was already happening when we're going to Paris anyway, right? It's just the change of country. Okay, well, I don't know if there's too much more to add here, really. Just because we'll talk about EWC next week. We happy?
Yeah.
Okay. Now this one I'm going to need a little bit of help with. I saw the massive stickers article and I got the gist of it. The money is less.
Money bad. money bad.
Money less. Now, my stance on this is one of two things. So, how do you walk this tightrope without being clipped by a HLTV social media guy and being made to look like a fucking... How do you do that? You say that word. If you say that word, they won't clip you.
Just say it.
Twitter doesn't mind
every
that
5
word,
words.
actually.
Every 5
It's
words,
YouTube.
just insert that.
So there's a lot to unpack here. And in reading some of the sentiments, I don't necessarily blame these team owners or even the players or even the community to have this view. To bring everybody up to speed, in case you missed it, don't know why you'd be listening to this podcast now, but anyway, this major, they decided to do something different with the stickers. Now, people assume this is because of the pressure that Valve have been getting over the Gamba type stuff with the loot boxes and all of that. Again, they did just within the last couple of months or month even release a capsule, which was a spin of the wheel, right? It was the Jackass capsule. They released that. So clearly they're still happy to do it in some cases. Anyway, they had this new method. It was dynamic pricing. It was like a market, right? Supply and demand. Some stickers were worth crazy amounts of money. There was no roulette wheel element. And then last night they did an update where they've capped the prices of these stickers. Is that right now, Lucas? You said one of those was 138.
Yes. These are the last
980.
games.
But those are the older ones, right?
It's just this is just
I
so
can't
you guys
fucking read
can
this because like our connection together is so fucking bad. I can't read.
Wait, Lucas.
So is this 980? Is that the new one or an old? That's
that is
an
the
old one.
old Nico Gold non-champion.
I think
Okay.
the highest
The
one
new
was like
one
the
is
Spirit Gold
39.
one. The Spirit Gold one was like $1,500 or something like that
I'll find them.
for the
Okay,
major.
so the new ones
I see.
are
The
squares,
square, yeah.
and they have a number of their final placing,
Yes.
Yep.
and they're definitely cheaper as of now.
They're
and
way cheaper, and I think I don't know this for sure, but considering it has stayed this way, I think they're capped at $60 max, because right now the Falcons one I think is the one that is Falcons, and one more is at 6,000 tokens, and it was there the same way at whatever 8 a.m. when I was writing the article, when I was checking the prices. So I think they've capped it at $60 for a max price. You know, so anything that you want to get, you're going to pay maximums of $60. You know, we'll see if
Someone
that
said
changes in
that-
some way, or if it's bugged or whatever. But it seems like that's the case.
Some people said the prices are static. So now it's no longer dynamic. They just used how it was before to value the stickers, or can the sticker still change price? Anyone know?
I believe they should still change price, but
Okay, so Schwabies, if you're wrong,
we're yet to
you're
see it. So
we yet
we
to see it.
could be
Okay.
right.
Schwabies says the prices are static for the new ones, but we'll see. I'm not saying anyone's right or anyone's wrong. I don't know. You could be right, Schwabies. Smarty just said they shouldn't change. Someone said they can check. This is great. We're playing a game of telephone over kick chat. But the long and the short is, with this method that's been changed, because we can do this really quick. Striker, do you expect there to be a drastic increase in profits for teams, orgs, and Valve?
I don't know about drastic. I mean, we know that sales definitely in the past have helped the payouts. I think it was something like 50% in the past, where like 50% came from the original sale, and then after the sale came through, it was like another, it doubled over that period ish. Some people probably, Messios will probably correct me at some point, but it was something like that. It was like a pretty decent chunk that went above once the sale went. But obviously this time there's not going to be any gamba. You could already get a lot of the stickers for much lower than they were in the game through the market, right? Where that doesn't go to the teams. It's just the first transaction, where
Yes.
somebody gets it from the game.
Oh, I know
that goes
that
to the teams,
very well.
right? So that's, well, there you go. So that's questionable, right? Because like a lot of this is going to get resold, like that people are going to resell these, and I'll see all these things. So I'm not 100% sure how big of a change it will be. I assume it will still amount to a lot less than we have seen in the past, because the figures that we got in that article that you were talking about was something like 20% of Budapest. And so I don't think that we're going to suddenly get up to Budapest levels just because of this sale, because realistically you still won't get the gamba aspect. You still won't be able to get, potentially a gold sticker for like $5 just because, that's just up to chance.
So
It's
now,
it's going to be interesting to watch, at least.
Now, if you're a fan of a player or a team and you want to buy the sticker, it's much more in a reasonable range of price where you could buy it now and you're not being taken to the cleaners for thousands of dollars, which is really nice. So the update's good from that perspective. But to mitigate the problem of the article that you were talking about, and that's kind of where I entered, because I had...
What is your hot take? You didn't say anything. Did I miss something?
There's no hot take, because the thing is, we were going to talk about that article today, but then the update for the stickers happened overnight. So now we just have to kind of segment the two things. So yeah, there probably is going to be a bit more money because it's a sale, and now we're seeing how they're going to do the sale with this method, but it's not going to make up for the problems that were outlined in that article, right? Because essentially, as a community, we've started to, whether you personally have done this or not, that's up to you, have taken it for granted how much money is being on offer at all these majors, right? And I like Owner, but I think it's pretty irresponsible when he's on podcast saying, there's, hundreds of thousands of dollars available just as long as you qualify for the major. He was doing that a couple of years ago, right?
Mm.
That not just him, right? There's a lot of people who would have the same rhetoric. I'm not of the class that thinks we should be guaranteed that money from Valve every major, especially not hundreds of thousands or 600,000 or whatever kind of figure it is, right? When signatures first came into the game, I was still playing. There was Cologne 2015. I made 12,000 Australian or US, either way, not great, $1,000 off of the signature sticker back then. And obviously since then it evolved, it changed. We had massive boom periods. The skin market went nuts, and it's been like that relatively consistently in a large bracket, but consistently lots of money if you get stickers, whether it's a team, a player, or the org, or even the company running the event. But I feel like we should never we shouldn't have built business models off of that, because why would we think it was going to be there forever? Like, we know we're dealing with
because it has been for a while, right? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
but we're
at some
dealing
point,
with Valve, Striker.
of course,
You know
like,
better than anybody.
I'm not trying to defend like all these decisions, right? Because like I've written about this at length as well on my column a few months ago, where the reason that we were in a shit position for a while was because people thought Paris was kind of a sign of the future rather than just an anomaly, right? Because Paris was massive in terms of the payouts to the teams. It was like in the millions, in like the 3, 4, 5 millions of dollars to each team at the time, right? And then suddenly, obviously, some teams thought that might be something that we can expect from future majors, and then they overspent, and then obviously contracts went up, salaries went up, and all these things in a lot of ways because of the Paris major, because of the payout, and then suddenly massive drop, right? Massive drop to more or less the levels that we've seen before, rather than that we just went completely tanked,
yes.
which is what's happening more now, right? Now we've actually tanked to somewhere of the levels of
2015 levels, apparently.
Pre-COVID-ish. I think it's not quite that bad, but like pre-COVID, like Starlet or Burley major, type thing.
It wasn't as bad as in
Thanks for
your
letting
time,
me know.
Chad.
I did get the most fucked in the early days. We really did miss that boat. I think that when I say what I said, though, people kind of, they're going to take it as, oh, but it's been like that. Valve don't guarantee you anything. Valve have never guaranteed anybody anything ever. They don't communicate. That's the thing that people are complaining about. They can't even fix the fucking cheating problem, right? You think you're going to be guaranteed hundreds of thousands of dollars a year just because, like, off of what? Off of what? You've dropped some fucking flower petals in your toilet and it was in a direction and you thought you had good luck or something? The other part of this is, my other side of this is, but Valve have allowed this to be the case for such a long period of time. So to have such a drastic change that we've seen in this version, which they're probably just experimenting, right? They're probably experimenting. What works?
I mean, everything is an
They
experiment.
acknowledge it too. Like in the first, you guys can talk.
I mean, everything's an experiment for them. Whatever they do is just like, oh, let's see how it goes, and then maybe you change it. And I think the irresponsible part is dropping this like one day before the major, when there is no way of mitigating.
Well, at that point, you're already committed, though, aren't you? Like, at that point, it's already happening.
Yeah, but they could have said this at some point a month ago or whatever.
But how would that have changed things, like, if they had said it a month ago?
I don't know.
Well, you think the teams would not try and qualify for the major?
Oh, okay. I found it.
Yeah, I mean, that was already too late, right? It is one of those, like, realistically, the only time you can say that is like after a major and be like, okay, now you guys know that things might change, or, give some indication that things might change previously. But that's kind of the risk that you play with. I think do I agree or disagree? I think with you, one of the problem is that ultimately, how do orgs even make money if not through the game? Like, for every big esport title, making money through the game is one of the most important things. And then as that goes up and down, that kind of almost dictates the esport as a whole, right?
Sure. Yeah, you see with Dota. Dota's a good example of that.
There are some exceptions to that, but like Rocket League has it, Rainbow Six has it, but then it used to be much better. Then it kind of tanked, and with that, the game, the interest, the economy of how much you can pay for players, how much you can pay for transfers kind of went down, and the esports kind of went down. I'm not an extreme expert, but this is like, following the headlines and stuff like that. Dota, as you mentioned, had a bit of a tank, and now it's just like literally gambling money is the only thing that and like EWC are the two things that are keeping Dota right now. That's the whole circuit, because the TI is cool, but it isn't what it used to be.
Its novelty was the $40 million prize pool.
That's why you need to have these different sources of revenue, and people being I mean, there's a comment somewhere in chat, like if you are banking on making money off of stickers to make your org work, it's like, well, it's either that or no work. Like there's nothing really, because we were also talking about it in chat. It's like, okay, if you want to make this like super budget organization, how fast does that budget become 600,000? Like nothing. And this is paying 5,000, 6,000 per player coach, add like one manager, general manager person, not even saying like, not even going to like some G2 level where you have like 3 different manager people working on, just like one guy that can like book flights and make sure that people come and go, and have like one person to do some content stuff on a freelance basis. You're suddenly on like 600,000 for a year. As like, how the fuck are you gonna get that from anyone? No one's gonna give you. No one's gonna give sinners 600,000. Yeah. And if there's no money, like no significant money coming from the stickers, then where else? Like, what's the point, right?
We need to kind of make a bit of headway with this, right? Because there's a few things that I want to ask some questions here to the class. Do we think that if we're talking in general, right? Obviously, there's top heavy players. You've got your Zywus, your Nikos, your Monasies, the guys who have played really well. But then we're talking about some more towards, as starting to bottom out in the top 30. And then we've got things like buyouts. Do you guys think that buyouts in general in professional Counter-Strike right now are ridiculous?
Yes.
Okay. Do we think that salaries are, because this is the thing, I don't know a lot of player salaries. I'm going to be honest. I know how much the mega rich guys make. And I don't know about their bonuses.
I can tell you like within.
Tell me everyone's salaries. Tell me.
I'm not. Look, I don't know like specific people, but like obviously generally from reports and stuff like that, like that even like somewhere like around the top 20 range, top 20 to top 30 range are going to have about the 10,000 a month range, at least somewhere in that direction, right? And then as you go towards
these
the
like
top,
newer salaries or like stuff that's negotiated 2-3 years ago? Because I feel like 2-3 years ago that made sense. I think today no one is getting that anymore.
Still though, those like this is something that I've had like with a conversation with a player like very recently. That was like around the top 30 level, like when they had negotiated their contract, like
okay,
top 30
right?
team,
so,
not top 30 player in the world.
Top 30 team, team. So
yeah.
like the top 30 teams like that are gonna play in the tier 1 tournaments every now and again at least are still gonna be somewhere close to 5 digits, if not already over. So that already tells you a lot, because that's a lot of money to pay players on a yearly basis, right?
So
that's already 600,000 just in salaries a year.
Between I'm not gonna count this as fact if you're saying someone like Liquid, which is like obviously a bigger org that's currently shit.
Big, like those are gonna be like in the tens of thousands,
yes,
right?
Exactly,
yes. But teams that are in this range are teams from like big M80, Alliance, NIP, Heroic. Okay. These are these teams, which I honestly
those could easily be around the range that I was talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
So then with that, let's just assume that we all have a similar average in mind here. Do we think the salaries are too much? Obviously, you could say for certain players, but do we think on average? Do we?
I think the thing is like too much is directly correlated
you get paid
to
what you can get paid.
Yeah, it's directly correlated to like the stickers, right?
Exactly.
Like 2 months ago, it seemed fine, but now it doesn't seem fine anymore, right?
I don't think it seemed fine even 2 months ago for some of these teams, to be honest. Especially the not even the lower range, but especially the top range, right? Like a lot of the top ranges from some of these orgs. Like I think Liquid realistically would have been overpaying a lot of their players considering the performance of their teams over the last
but
5
they're
years
kind of
whatever. Like
they're very much an outlier in terms of like how big they are and how bad they've been doing. So I kind of want to just remove them from this conversation for a second.
That's fair enough. Yeah, but that's kind of contributes to the problem, right? Because every time an org like that happens, and then like every up and coming player is used to having a like 30K salary offer from these orgs. Obviously, they're going to expect that from others as well, and so that's going to drive a lot of the demand as well. So that's the reason we were here in the first place, right? Like when 2015 came, the interest from the North American orgs came, like that inflated salaries like crazy, because Cloud9 came into the picture, Envy came into the picture, some of these big orgs from other games.
Surge too. The E-League Surge brought in your Echo Foxes with Rick Fox and that type of stuff, right? Your Shaquille O'Neal's
like
with
everybody
NRG.
remembers the fucking Colossus or whatever Juggernaut. I don't remember which one is it, which one's which anymore.
Cloud9.
Those
they were the Colossus. Juggernaut was Complexity.
Yeah. So those figures came publicly, right? And like, who would have thought at the time that fucking
S-Attack
let's say S-Attack was worth $30,000 a month? Like there's no fucking way that would have been
come
reasonable.
down. It's come down since then, I would say, like on average.
Of course.
But so, and then I think that this conversation keeps going, right? Because someone's sitting here saying, they already make millions of dollars off of the armory. Yeah, okay. but they make a video game and it's a business. I understand this, right? But we've got 10 years of Counter-Strike being competitive Counter-Strike being tacked onto the Valve developer. A little bit more, right? A little bit more. But we never had that before. And people played Counter-Strike back in the day. Obviously not to the same scale as now. And do I think... Okay, here's my question for you guys. I'm going to throw another one back. This lawsuit with the US stuff, do we think that's why they didn't do... Do we think Valve are scared to do cases and the loot box elements?
I will give you one quote that will answer what we were just talking about the entire time, and why I think everybody's saying, "Oh, fucking Valve scammed everybody who bought the donk sticker under the old system and all that stuff." Now with releasing the new one, if you don't do your reading, you're fucking dumb. And the same with organizations and stuff like that who know Valve are capable of doing this. There's an FAQ that came out with the release of the original system, which was the dynamic pricing. Why aren't you selling capsules is the question. And the answer is, in the past, we shipped team and player autograph stickers in capsules. While this approach was popular, we've heard feedback that players might prefer to purchase stickers directly. I have an opinion about this, but I'll leave that be. Additionally, players in certain regions cannot purchase sticker capsules because of certain lawsuits, certain moves that they've had to make in response to certain countries, being against this being a gambling thing. So we're exploring alternatives that allow all players to participate. That
why they do it Cologne,
everything you need to know.
Did they go, oh, ESL's owned by Saudi Arabia, that'll be fine. They don't need the money. It will be all right.
But you can see that it's an experiment, right? Like they knew that this might not be the final product, and they publicly fucking addressed it too. Everybody's complaining about Valve not communicating. They released a fucking 3-page FAQ that told you everything you needed to know in one sentence.
The sky's, look, if you read the news only every day, the sky's always falling. We've been doing this now over such a long period of time, right? We've been looking at these ebbs and flows and ups and downs. Everything's going to change. It always changes. Valve changes shit all the fucking time. We're just talking about the bomb. They don't ever think about changing the bomb.
It reminds me slightly of like crypto investors and things like that, especially when a new crypto comes out and it's like everybody's like, oh, this is going to be big, and it's like obviously there's been some past behavior that we can go by, but it was also quite wildly different, as I talked about with Paris being like 4 times of the previous major or any major around it, right? So it's like everything is a risk and a reward, right? And obviously if you're taking a risk, like as an organization, you are taking a risk every time you're putting an investment into a team, because you don't even know if you're going to qualify for that major, so you're chasing a carrot that might never come. And the carrot at the end might get smaller, as we've just seen, so like all of this is a risk reward. And if you're complaining about the fact that you took it and suddenly somebody changed the rules, it is your own responsibility for putting that investment in the first place.
Yeah, it's just unlucky. And you can also be human and be like, for the Sinners guys, that they were trying to do this and tried for so long, been close and failed on some of them, and then finally got it, and it was like, this is the worst. It's been you've earned the least you can in forever. It's like, oh well. But that's also why it should never be just qualifying for the major.
Yeah.
It can't.
Sinners as an example, they were so close to not even making it, so they would have got nothing at that point. But they've been, the game is unfair. Like, I'm sorry, but the dumbest.
But it's just like, you qualify for the major, but then actually do something and build off of that, and come back to the next one, and then actually have a thing. But obviously, it's a rough situation to be in. I wanted to say, Falling Whale made a good comment, because there's some discussion about like, they're making so much on the Armory, right, and that stuff. He says Valve view esports as its own thing, not as marketing for the game like Riot. So they don't give away money that comes away from other sources. Like, maybe not 100% true, but pretty much the sentiment's there. The sentiment is pretty much there, and I agree.
They definitely don't like fund the majors from other sources, because like they've gotten way more out of the majors that they've given out. So
remember with the esports case in the early days, they're like, we'll do these, and if we make enough money, then I guess we'll run.
And that was what funded the early majors.
Yeah,
and they're like, this is a lot more money than we thought. So then it became a whole thing, right? And it's a self-contained thing that they do. And realistically, how many people play Counter-Strike that don't give a flying fuck about esports?
Most people.
Most people play
the
Counter-Strike.
majority of players, The
Most
majority of
people
people that
play
the game.
Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
So that's just math-wise, it is factually correct that they don't need to take money out of other things and put it into esports.
Yeah.
But they don't actually have to, because usually they make a lot of money. Just a side note, because you're mentioning like Cologne, there is a part that no one speaks about, and that's also that ESL ate shit in this whole combination, because you also, as the TO, get a cut of all of the sticker stuff that is being sold.
Yeah.
So they got less than any other TO in a while, which is, it's just worth mentioning.
It is classic though. Like I know that you get other people out there who frame ESL as they get everything. When you look at it from a Valve angle, ESL are like they're the best child, but they're treated like the worst child. Like they're fucking they're living under the stairs with Harry Potter, mate. I'll tell you that much. Okay, let's take an ad break, shall we? And we'll get into some of the online results. Lucas, ad break. Be right back.
Want to hear what the pros have to say?
You're gonna see big things from this kid.
HLTV interviews on the go as they happen. Follow HLTV on Spotify.
Today's HLTV Confirmed episode is brought to you by Skins.com. Skins.com has 0% transaction fees, plus a dedicated instant sell feature when you need cash fast. To start trading, just click login, sign in using your preferred method, and sift through the 50,000 plus skins already listed. A profitable trade is merely a few clicks away.
All right, we're back from the break. You know what to do. Head over to Spotify. You can listen to those interviews, audio only, on the treadmill, in the gym, bench pressing. You're in the shower. You put it on the top of your shower frame. You're showering away. You accidentally nudge the shower frame, your phone, it falls off face first onto the ground. But the interviews are still playing. Did that happen to me? Yeah. Is my phone okay? I guess. Sometimes it says that there's moisture in the charging port, but that's just life. And we got to listen to the interviews, guys, at all times. All right, let's get it going. So we're going to jump into Catfished or Caught Out. Both of those are quite negative, so we're going to have to come up with something in between at some point along here. But we have had some online Counter-Strike going down, whether that's the Blast Bounty Season 2 online portion. I don't know if we can call it a group stage. It's a weird bracket with not even reseeding, repicking, and all of this going on. So we've had some upsets there that are quite glaring. And we've also had Star Ladder Qualifier going on at the same time. Now, the reason that gets the same billing is because they were running at the same time and teams were playing multiple days of games.
Both, yeah.
Exactly. So we'll cover both of these, mainly with an Aurora focus in the Star Ladder stuff, because it was Aurora and Magic who qualified alongside of, I won't do that. Actually I will, because it's a question later on. So if you remember it, good on you. Navi, Mouse, and Vitality, right?
Yep.
There's one more.
Is there, yeah.
FURIA. It's
FURIA.
Falcons and Spirit who skipped the Star Ladder event. That makes sense. All right, I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to do Catfish or Caught, and I'm going to explain the concept. Everyone happy?
Sure. Let's do it.
Haven't really thought about the concept, guys. We're going to do this together live. But we've got the screen to look at least. Okay, so here it is. Bang.
What is
Lucas?
This?
Yeah, it's all right. I'll give you a say. It's just
Is this supposed to be the three of us?
So there was a TV show on MTV called Catfished.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I saw a few episodes recently, actually.
Now, for people who don't know what catfishing is where online you get in a relationship or a conversation with somebody, and then you're sending them pictures of yourself, but they're not yourself. They could be AI generated, like this lovely poster I made right here, or they could be of somebody else on the internet, and you're either just stringing them along for some kind of weird game. Maybe you're doing it for you want money. I don't know, but anyway, we've all heard of catfishing. Or the caught out section is, did you get caught out coming out of the break and you're a little bit slow? You got your pants around your ankles, right? You're not ready to play. So we're going to play the first ever rendition of Catfished or Caught Out. Are you guys ready?
Can I ask,
let's
what
go.
was the prompt that produced this tree of fine-looking men, but men that look nothing like any of us?
So this one I used Grok for, and I said, because I tried to use Gemini, and Gemini said they can't depict real people. And I was like, Gemini, just make a caricature of these people. Couldn't do that. This is Grok's rendition, and I just said make it Prof, Striker, and SPUNJ from HLTV Confirmed podcast.
It's Kixan, and Jack from Vitality.
Yeah. So that's how we ended up there. But you'll see some more AI slop later, which is ChatGPT, and that did a much better job. So that might be the go-to in the future. Anyway,
Okay, I see.
here we go. This is the first in Catfished or Caught Out. Blast Bounty 2026 Season 2, 100 Thieves versus Falcons opening round game. Reigning major champions. 3-map affair. They got absolutely blown out on their own map choice of Mirage 13-7 and then lost on Anubis 13-11. Do we think this was catfished, caught out, or we're monitoring the situation? That old man, he's got two like big kind of monitors. He's monitoring the situation.
Can I ask what the difference between catfished and caught out is?
Yeah, I also
Because I
need
also
some
don't
clarity.
understand what.
Is Catfished the team? Is the team that won catfishing us, or the team that lost catfishing us?
Now, I should have explained this because this is all under the guise of online Counter-Strike, and all the results we'll see are upset victories. So we're determining, do we think that the favorite was caught out? Do we think that we're getting catfished by the result of the team online?
Okay.
Or are we monitoring the situation?
We're doing okay. But it could be both then. Or all
it could
three.
be. It could be.
It could be all three.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. This one, it was an interesting one. Especially considering like last map was like 7-0 for Falcons, and they play a bit of a sloppy round, and then out of that, just everything goes wrong. I do feel like this is a caught out situation. Caught out situation. Yeah, I do think 100 Thieves played a decent game. I think they have potential to be decent. I think they showed that in some ways against Spirit, in some ways not really. So this is my opinion. I think they got caught out. It's something about it that doesn't sit with me.
I'd go with caught out as well. I don't think we're getting catfished by 100 Thieves potential, right? I think that their potential as a team with the pieces they have is decent. And for me,
I have a problem with that because I would be like, you know, if you're caught out, that means just like you put the onus on the team that lost, right? That means they fucked up or they weren't ready, they weren't warmed up. But then there's no option that says this team is actually fucking legit and they should have won because it's not an upset. You know, we're missing an option.
I mean, obviously it's an upset, regardless.
No, but I mean, it's like a legit one. Like we were like, oh, 100 Thieves is gonna be fucking top 5 team in the world in the next 6 months or whatever.
Change the framing. Change the framing. What we can do is we can make catfish, if you want, we can make it a good one in this scenario. Because the angle we could go with is it was online Counter-Strike. We thought that they were ugly because it was online, but really, they're beautiful. They can do it on land.
Okay, let's do that. That sounds good.
So with this one,
because then I would go somewhere like slightly, like mostly caught out, but like slightly towards the top, because I think like 100 Thieves showed like that this lineup is actually a bit better than the previous one for sure, at least for now, right? So I think like slight catfish.
But if they played this game again at EWC, do you think 100 Thieves win?
No.
Do you think 100 Thieves win a map?
Yeah.
I don't see them winning a map. If their map choice last time was Nuke,
probably not. But you know,
yeah. Let's move on to the next one. Let's see how it develops. Let's see how this game develops. I think
guys, this was just a concept. Whether
it's
or not
a good concept, I think we need to workshop it, live workshopping.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Blast Bounty 2026 Season 2. This is the 23rd of July. This is FOKUS 2-1ing Aurora over 3 maps, 13-11 on cash. That was in favor of FOKUS, a 7-13 win on Nuke for Aurora, or 13-7, excuse me, and then a 13-4 domination on Dust 2, third and deciding map there against Aurora to eliminate them from play of Blast Bounty. Is this a catfish situation?
This is like quintessential caught out in the sense that like the way that FOKUS played that game, I was actually rewatching it like maybe a couple of days ago because I was curious about Aurora. And like the way that FOKUS approached that game was just like full aggression, like just disrupt them all the time. And
well, their roster's new as well, right?
But isn't that the perfect example of catfishing? Like they're catfishing us by playing really well, but the reality is they're not really that good. You know?
So this is the bad catfish. I think
this would be a catfish situation. I didn't watch the Aurora games. I don't have much input on that. So, but I feel like that's what you're describing is a catfish situation right there.
Okay. All right. We've got 3 more of these. This is Liquid versus Vitality. 2-0. A win on Anubis and a win on Nuke with the debut of JT and Jorko in the roster. Elige playing very well. Like very, very well. Is this a Catfish, a called out, or a monitoring the situation scenario?
This is all three.
Okay, we can have 3 circles.
I feel like this is all three
We can have
because
every circle you want here, Prof. Talk me through your logic.
the way our great friends from Liquid played, that we said we're not excited about, I said at least, they played like high tempo, aggressive CT sides, pushing, doing all of these things, you know, which is really nice. Elige was just insane individually, which I don't think that's not a Catfish situation. He is a really good player. You know, one of the best in the world if you just look in isolation. So I think that's fine. But like, how often would they pull this off again against Vitality to the same degree of success, like just how they played on the macro level? I think that would be hard to repeat. On the other side, I think Vitality individually looked pretty rough. Apex, I think, looked really bad in some situations, just like missing, you know, cues on what is happening, or individually looking pretty bad. So I mean, Mezzi looking stat wise not the greatest either. So those two things I think combined for this quite rough loss for Vitality to start the thing. But also we need to monitor the situation, especially from the Liquid side. I think one Catfish element is Jorko. Where is he going to be? Like, obviously playing online is probably going to be more comfortable for him. When we saw him on LAN at the PGL Bucharest, didn't look that crazy. Like, he looked okay, but nothing to this level. So I think I want to see more of that. I think that's smelling a bit catfishy so far, that element.
Okay. How do you like that diagnosis, Striker?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay, looks, it may have zoomed in because I closed some little tab and it looks like it zoomed in slightly. I'm sorry, sir. Okay. Well, this is obviously one of this Falcons and FURIA. They're all. We'll talk about them. Hold up. We'll talk about them holistically once we get through it. So we got 2 more of these. Here's the next one. This is Sharks. If people are not familiar, DENDELE or DENDELE or I don't know. I don't know how you're gonna pronounce it. Anyway,
I don't know. I was. What this is one of the worst names. So just sounds like nothing. It's like an org Michael would open.
Fucking hell. Okay. Well, guys,
I don't have anything against them. It just sounds dumb.
It does
What is it? Isn't it? It's a football team.
It's
like
like
a football team, or
no,
like a five-a-side football team or something.
Yeah,
Like that, isn't it?
that's this like Kings League, like streamer football thing. Yeah.
Well, they're just names. They got a bull. They went from being a bull from a shark to a bull. Well, they could be a bull shark. That's what they
fish out of
fucked
water
up.
situation.
Anyway, they beat FURIA 2-1. It was on Anubis, Mirage, and Cash. Pretty scrimmy map pool. It looked, it started really well. 13-6 goes 13-6 the other way on Mirage, and then 16-14 on Cash. So that one was tight. Now this is Sharks, who, if you guys are familiar with some of the players, respect here. The one that always I remember is Koala, because he's called Koala. But this game, when I was watching it unfold and it got into overtime on Cash, I'm thinking to myself, oh dear. But I don't have any strong feelings with this stuff here, because guys, I know a lot of people don't agree with this, but I do. I just go, it was online Counter-Strike and it means nothing to me. That's my truth. That is my truth, and I won't hear anything about it, Prof. You won't tell me otherwise. That's my truth. All right?
Until you get paid to cast online Counter-Strike, you don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Online Counter-Strike's done. That's the thing that we should celebrate the most from all of this, is there's no more online Counter-Strike as far as the top tier events are concerned.
So just pants down. Just put it on pants down.
All right, fine. I like it.
Hands down, pants down.
Pants down.
I like it there.
Add one notable thing from this series, that now that you remove this green circle, you can see the clutches won 7-0 for DENDELE. Make of that.
Bit of a catfish situation, I'd say.
Bit
of a catfish situation.
Smelling fishy.
I still think it's like the same thing, though. But it's whatever, man.
Listen, Striker, I needed one more hour to really fix this concept. It needed to be catfished or cooked alive. Now that's bad.
Or
too.
like, what is the opposite of like a great fish? That's not a catfish. Like a fucking
Catfish is not a bad fish.
Why is it called
Shouldn't you
catfishing
just
then?
Be like thinking of it.
It's called a
of the
catfish
team
because it has like
losing.
the whiskers thing. That's why it's called a
No, but
catfish.
why is the concept called catfish?
Oh,
I thought
I
like
don't know.
you pull it out a big
Because
fish,
I
you're
guess
like, oh,
it's
it's gonna
ugly,
great
but it
fish.
tastes good.
But
guess-
if you just
Yes?
focus on the team losing, right? Did they get caught with their pants down?
Lucas has
Or
fixed
are
it. Were they
they-
catfishing with their
Or
result?
are they
Oh,
catfishing
Lucas
as
has
a
done it!
strong team? That's it. Just think of the team losing.
Fuck.
Ah,
Why didn't we get this guy fucking producing the show? Let's do it for the last one. Liquid
Okay.
versus G2, another upset. Would G2
I didn't
catfishing
understand
us?
anything that Lucas said, so I'm in the back of the class. I'm like special needs right now. I need like another person to explain it to me again.
Okay, Prof. So in this example, I want you to
Yes.
assume, regardless of the result, that G2 was the favorite. So we're only going to look at this at the lens from the loser. Does a 13-6, 13-5 loss to Liquid mean that G2 were catfishing? They got caught out, or we need to monitor the situation only from a G2 perspective?
Okay, now if you can also walk me through the answer one time, then I'll know for next class.
So G2, by losing 0-2 in that fashion to Liquid with a new roster, who sure did beat Vitality, but it was online, the level of Counter-Strike they showed, they had wrinkled too, I suppose we need to point that out. Is that a performance that makes you think, hold up, that's not right. They're catfishing. They're not really a top team, right? You know, this is what we can expect from them. Or was this G2 a top team who came in not ready and got caught out? Right? They were too sleepy. They hadn't practiced enough. They didn't look like they were in good form. Or is it a mix of everything and we're monitoring the situation?
monitoring for the time being. I think Wrinkle was not good in the series so far, and I'm still very skeptical about that.
Highest rated player, of course.
No, it was. Oh, maybe I was thinking about the other one.
Highest rated
Yeah,
player.
but even the open one, you're right, Striker. Like that left a lot to be desired.
No,
for
the
sure.
other one?
he didn't look. Even though I didn't see that much great from him, even though he is the highest rated player. But
I didn't see much great
Which
from
one
him
am I
either.
thinking about?
No,
Maybe
the
it's supposed
first
to be-
game they played. This is the second game they played.
Okay.
So the first game they played, it was like, it's okay. It's like, this is fine. Not hugely excited, but yeah.
Right.
So we took a vessel, we took a journey, we saw some fish, we saw some pants, and we really got nowhere. So let's close this slide. I'll try again next time. Let me close this.
it wasn't that bad.
It was an attempt. It was an attempt. But the long and the short, seventh time I've said that this episode, is a lot of good teams got upset. That's what happened. Now, do you, as an individual, does that matter to you at home? Do you think, oh no, Falcons are bad now. They will never win another game of Counter-Strike. Or the Vitality era is over. They lost online. Oh no. If that's you, good luck in life. All right. Do you guys want to talk about these? I don't want to talk about these upsets. Like I said, I don't care. I haven't.
No, I mean, it's kind of.
I think we can look at it through the lens of the new teams, right? And just kind of look at what we've seen from the new teams, because I think that's the only thing that really makes sense.
But your angle has to be milk toast angle though. You can't go crazy. You can't go, oh my god, Liquid look like one of the
Don't tell
absolute
him
best
what he
Counter-Strike
can or
teams in the
cannot
world.
do. Okay, he's his own man.
Well, how can you
But I would
get super
definitely do
hyped? Right? You can't get hyped. You can go,
No, you
oh,
can't.
it looked
You
good.
can't.
Elise played well with JT. Jorko had some
Yeah.
moments. He's going to have to keep that up, right? He's a young man. He's very emotional. Is he going to be able to deliver this? Is this a
But
honeymoon?
also, like, it's also a lot of the moves that have happened aren't like boom, like this is gonna be amazing. Like, yes, maybe they had a good couple of results, but like realistically, in the first place, we didn't think any of these moves were anything that
Blockbuster
amazing.
moves.
Like, just a lot of them were just like slight upgrades, or were maybe a little bit on the fence. None of it was like if Frozen went to Navi or something, like where we would be like, fuck yeah, finally, like none of this happened. So I'm like, you have to be milquetoast about everything at this point, I think.
But that's the problem I have is I don't want to get here and start saying, oh, I think this looks this way. I want to see them play on LAN where it matters after a period of time where everybody has at least been practicing for a week, right? That's what I want to see. And we're going to get that in a week and a bit's time, but we're not going to get that now. So what we could do, because we are going to talk about the teams who are in the playoffs, we can skip that and just talk about the new rosters we saw who are going to be in the playoffs, because that's going to help inform our conversation for who we think is going to win. And we have a whole bunch of stuff we need to get through too. Prof just said he's limited on time, so we definitely will be.
No, this is more for what Lucas said to stick around after. But
we will be speeding things up now a little bit. I was going to spend some time on Aurora. but we don't have to worry about that. We'll do it once we've seen them play a little bit more as well, because they have only played, I think they played 4 or 5 maps. And I was going through and I was doing the positions. They've essentially just plugged Jimmy and Kixon in directly to where Madja and Soulfly were holding on the CT sides. The T sides, things are looking a little bit different. It looks like they're going for more map control as opposed to just the pack roll. Yeah. And their results, they played a lot of games because of the star ladder stuff. So their results are not against the best teams in the world, but they're decent results, I would say, considering of the language factor with the Turkish players now speaking English. Not a problem for Woxic, but I think it would be a little bit more of an issue for your likes of Wakadia and Zentaris, at least in the early stages. So the qualification for Star Ladder is good. Getting eliminated online in the opening round of Bounty, I think they'll go whatever. That's going to happen. So that's my take on Aurora for now. But we can get to them once we have a bit more data. Okay, where are we here? Let's jump into the Bounty Land playoffs. Okay, so here are the 8 teams that ended up qualifying, and you're going to miss a lot of names here, everybody, but that's just the way the format went. So you've got in reverse order, and this is how it is on HLTV right now: 3D Max, Liquid, Pain, Astralis, FaZe, the Mongols, Mouse, and Spirit. So the only undeniably good team at the event is Spirit.
Yep.
Right? The only undeniably good team. Mouse are your level. If you're any of those other names and you go to this event and you beat Mouse, we can have a conversation about you coming up to the big boy table and tipping your hat and saying, "Hello, sir, Vitality, Falcons, and Spirit. We are X, Y, or Z." If you can't beat Mouse, you can stay at the little kid table. You can have your chicken nuggets and your hot dogs and your fucking French fries, which does sound good until you know that the big boys are eating filet mignon steaks with some delicious mashed potato and steamed broccolini. Not even broccolini, because they splurge at the big boy table.
Okay.
So those are our 8 teams. So we know the field is weak. There's no point walking all over that. From the names,
I mean, I want to maybe highlight just the fact that you called it. We didn't really say that on the podcast
what are the odds?
What are the odds last week when you're like, what are the odds that 2 of the top 4 teams don't make it? And me and Striker were not really keen on that. You're very keen on that. Not only did 2 not make it, 3 didn't make it, and it's almost 4, since Spirit was also on, like, OG was on match point against
Spirit.
Spirit.
Could have eliminated them for sure. Yeah.
So that's quite wild. Yeah, I did not see that coming in any way. So as much as it's online, like the amount the amount of upsets was above my expectations for sure. But also shows like Spirit after that, I don't know, a drag against OG, then went to play 100 Thieves, lost one not close map. They lost Mirage quite handedly, but then 13-0 on Dust 2. So, that's surviving one game means a lot. Surviving that one, shitty starter game of the season. So I think Spirit is in just such a insane position to win this. Like I feel like I don't see anyone else doing it. I think it's like by far and large huge favorite here.
Okay, because that's going to be our what are the odds by stake. So we may as well jump straight into that, because I'll just segue us in there, because that's the conversation, right? This week, what are the odds brought to you by stake is Spirit win Bounty, right? So what are the odds Spirit win Blast Bounty? Right? That's the question. That's it. And just so people understand the rest of the field who didn't qualify for the land portion: Falcons, Vitality, FURIA, Aurora, G2, Foot, right? Gamer Legion didn't make it, but then we start getting, further and further down the list, right? Heroic didn't make it. They've got Brolin and Martinez now. We can keep going down. The names that we do have is a new Liquid, right, who have beaten 2 very good teams. Then you have 3D Max, who have Kersey, who was an AWPer, now playing as a rifler, and 3D Max, who continue to chop and change chairs. You have Pain, who decided to stay with Safe after the whole major situation. You've got Astralis, who changed the coach, but nothing else changed. You've got FaZe, who we weren't sure if their roster changes were done, but are, 1 win away from being back in the invite bubble for VRS stuff, which is kind of crazy. The Mongols with 2 kids, right? How are we saying this guy's name? Because I would say Tikwak. How would you guys say his name?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Jason was saying Tikwak or something like that.
That's what I would say as well, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I just doing it phonetically. And then Darkmeister, and then Mouse with PR, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 of the teams have new rosters-ish, I guess we could say. So what percentage, Prof? Because you said pretty handedly you would expect Spirit to win.
80% for me.
80%. Okay.
Very
Chat's
strong.
only gone 47% right now.
People can vote in chat just by writing on any number now. This is an update, so not like yes or no, but like actual number. Yeah. I don't know if it works correctly. I don't know how what people wrote in chat equates
someone
to
put 99 and things went up. Okay. Yeah, things are happening now. Things are moving.
It out.
So you just think the field's not good enough, Prof, to beat these boys. That's it?
Yeah, I mean, they have to win 3 games, right? The last game, best of 3 as well in the final, not best of 5 here.
Best of
so
5.
The best of 5?
I'm pretty sure it's best of 5.
Yeah, it is best of 5.
It is. So that's a extra bonus. I think if they reach the grand final, that one's like the easiest, kind of like Falcons FURIA potentially situation there, even though that doesn't even make sense as a comparison. But yeah, I don't really see like the first game is going to be against one of the weakest teams.
So the way it goes is Pain,
Probably
FaZe,
3D
Max, Liquid. That's the draft order.
Yeah,
so Pain will pick first.
Spirit, Liquid.
Yeah, Pain are going to pick Astralis. FaZe are going to probably pick Mongols. 3D Max will be left with Mouse, and then Liquid will versus Spirit.
So I guess the first game against Liquid is going to be actually the second game might be easier than the first. So let's see. Who knows? But I don't see anyone as like a serious competition. Obviously, anyone can lose a game. They could have lost a game to OG Online, but I think now that you could hit the land portion, I don't really see it.
There's been a lot of Anubis picked, so I have to see how that factors in. Obviously, it won't be a consideration for Mouse, or Mongols actually. So there's a couple teams here that won't. But a few of those key victories or key upsets that we were talking about came with Anubis in the map pool. So that's just something that I want people to keep their eyes on, as well as Cash. There's been a 3D Max love Cash, FaZe love Cash. So they're going to be deciding factor maps throughout this 8-team bracket. Striker, what percentage would you put on this? Chat's at 61% right now.
That's
Prof's gone with 80.
Sort of the area where I was looking at as well, like 50 to 60, somewhere like that. So I'll go with 60.
Okay. Yeah, I normally like to go pretty heavy-handed in these situations, but I'll just put 75% on it, right? Because it's Counter-Strike. It's any given Sunday. It's hard to see any of the teams. None of the teams will have a comprehensive map pool, right? Especially the ones who have made roster changes. It's just not possible. So they would need to beat Spirit. You need like 3 players popping off on that any given day to beat Spirit. And I struggle to see teams where the 3 players popping off is scary enough for that to be a problem for them, right? Mouse, if you can get exertion in a high pressure game with Spinks clutching, and then let's say it can be any of the other 3 going nuts. FaZe, even if you have Twist and Froze, I don't know. I'll see more of J Bowen on LAN. Anyway, it's just not a crazy heavy field, is it? It doesn't fill you with the same level of excitement as it would if there was 2 more of those big names, which is unfortunate, but we do get to see some of the smaller names playing and see who will be the PARIVISION, which it kind of ended poorly from last season, but will there be another team who kind of steps up to the plate in that fashion? Let's add this all together, Lucas, and get our total. There it is. So 1.45 for yes, 3.23 for no. We've had the say in chat. And what do you want to reckon at home? Say in your comments, the Spotify comments, the YouTube comments, all the comments. That is What Are the Odds presented by Stake. Any other comments here on Bounty, everybody, before we move?
I don't know, Striker, did you have any highlights from the teams? I mean, obviously, it's a surprise to see 3D Max making it through Pain as well. Considering everything,
It's even hard to remember like who some of these teams actually beat to get there. Because like I watched like
the last game.
Yeah, it's not a straight bracket, is it, Striker? It makes it a bit confusing.
Yeah, so some of it, no big highlights for me, to be honest. I was really just picking like basically watching the teams that were new heading into it and just like seeing what they come up with, like how they look early on. So I watched like maybe half of it, probably even less than that, to be honest.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It was 4 best 3s a day as well. It was accelerated schedule, which is nice. So, but also not nice if you had some time at night. But okay, all right. We happy? We're done with this one. We're moving on.
Yeah.
All right, nice. Okay, so now we're just going to take a quick look at the season ahead. So we're going to jump into another sponsored segment we have on the show. This is Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire, brought to you by skins.com. Type skins.com in chat right now. That is skins.com in chat right now for your raffle ticket to enter the draw. 5 questions, multiple choice. Every question that these 2 get correct, the slider will move up. If they get all 5 correct, you can take home a $50 skin, or at least the value of one. Okay, get chatting with that now. Now, this is a bit of a pop quiz, gentlemen, from last week's episode where I had done up some documentation regarding the season, the events, the prize pools, kind of the flow, and some important stuff. So I hope you guys were paying attention because the questions are going to be about exactly that. Are you guys ready?
Yep, I guess.
Always.
Let's do it. Who wants to be a Skinionaire? Brought to you by skins.com. Type skins.com in chat. Now, question number 1. Which one of these events doesn't have 32 teams on land? The Singapore Major, EWC, or EPL Season 24?
Oh, EPL.
Singapore Major.
Wait.
No?
32 teams on land. Of course, Singapore
Yes.
Major does.
Not at the same time. Yes, I'm stupid. Yeah, okay, moving on.
EPL.
Locking in. I've lost my page. Lucas, can you select it? I lost my little page. Wait, is it this one? It's here. I'm on. Okay, good. EPL Season 24. Correct answer is EPL Season 24. Okay, cool. It is 24 the next season, right? I just
It's
went from the top
16.
of my head. Yeah, it's only 16 teams, but is it Season 24? The number? Season 25.
Oh, Season 24, 25,
Okay,
I
see,
guess.
I went from the top of my head. It's Season 25, guys. I miscounted the season.
20. Wait, you mean
Is it?
the next one is 24.
Okay, I was right. Fuck. I thought, okay, I didn't miscount. All right. I was just remembering how many of them I was at. You know, I played and worked in Season 3 of EPL. Crazy.
I was in Season 1.
I don't know what happened in Season 1 for me.
It was the...
I think it wasn't, you couldn't
Was
play
that
if you're from Australia. There wasn't
Was
like
that the
regional
Cloud9
qualifiers
one?
for me. Is
Maybe
that
not.
the one? Yeah, that was in the office at the old ESL place
Yeah.
downstairs. It was super hot. It could have been. That could have been the one. Okay, question number 2. Who of these teams is skipping Star Ladder? Na'Vi, Falcons, Vitality, FURIA.
This is Falcons.
Yeah.
It's Falcons. You gave us a little tip there. Okay.
Okay, locking in Falcons. Correct answer is 2 from 2. All right, we're cruising. They're not as hard as last week's. Not as hard as last week's. We'll see what happens, though. Question 3. I'm going to sneeze. What is the VRS cutoff date for the major?
What is the 2?
Sorry, November
No.
2nd or November 6th. Excuse me.
Oh,
God bless you. Was it November 6th? Or is that last time was 6?
Can't
Was it
be.
April
Last time
6th?
would have been October.
second. But I think it's
Fuck it.
November 2nd.
Go for November 2nd.
Are we locking it in?
Yeah, let's do that.
Right, locking in November 2nd. Correct answer is November 2nd. November 6th
Okay.
is the deadline for the rosters.
Well,
So 2
okay,
very
yes.
important dates there. Both very important on the 2nd. Okay.
Pop quiz, yes.
Question number 4. Which event has the biggest prize purse? EWC, Blast, Portal, or Singapore Major?
PWC.
Anything from you, Prof?
No.
Okay. Locking in EWC. Correct answer is EWC, 2 million. The major is only 1.25, and you don't get sticker money now. Now you actually have to pay Valve if you want to play. That's the new rule for the next major. All right. Question number 5. 5 from 5 to make up for last week. We get the grand prize, $50 skin available on the table. Let's get it. The last event before the cutoff is EPL Season 24, PGL Masters Bucharest or IEM Beijing.
PGL Masters.
Locking in PGL Masters Bucharest. Correct answer is I can't believe it. We're all going to be rich. I shouldn't do the whisper part because I don't know if it goes out to broadcast or not. But this is it, guys. You've just made as much sticker money as sinners for one lucky winner in the kick chat right now. Step right up. Get your $50 skin here. Lucas is going to draw the winner, and our people will reach out to your people, and we will get you the $50 voucher for the skin. Nakimo? No
Nakima.
No chemo.
Chemo.
No Kino. Nice. All right. Congratulations, no chemo. Lucas will reach out to you and we'll sort it out and we'll get you your skin. Okay. So this is where we get into some fun stuff, everybody. Now, this is what I was talking about. We usually do a bit of a time capsule. We talk about things that are going to happen in the season, make some predictions, but I didn't like being clipped by the social media guys last time with like, look at the predictions of Striker, Prof, and Sponge. Like they thought that this idiot was going to be the breakout player. No, we were doing it for fun, right? Because we can't all pick the same player. It's not really a fun conversation if we all just say the same guy or the same team or whatever. So we have some fun. We try and come up with some different angles. But
No fun
today,
allowed.
I've got a different angle indeed. Lucas, I'm going to share my screen. Are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, cool. I'm going to do it right now. If I can, there we go. Bang. Bang. Bang, bosh, there it is. Okay, when you guys can see this, we'll get into it. So, as Prof said, everyone's already over talking about the World Cup. No one cares. No one cares unless you're Spanish. Nobody cares. Everyone's talking about the Odyssey now, right? And we're kind of like figures from the Odyssey. I don't know in what way. Maybe that we smell. I'm not sure. But we're going to talk a little bit about Season 2 of 2026, okay? And the three of us, well, we like to read the news. We like to tell the news. Sometimes we like to tell a story. And today we are going to collectively decide on the top 5 questions of the season to come. Okay, so the questions we have as of right now for this next season that make it the most exciting or story that we want to follow. So here we go. Changing slide. Bosh. Now, these are just placeholders. They don't have to stand here. This is just an example, and we can move things around. But I feel pretty confident in my top 2. Now, you can see our lovely faces there on the top right-hand side of the screen with little yes and no's. Now, we do need 2 people to vote yes to place any given storyline. If 2 people do not vote yes, the storyline will not be placed in its ranking. Now, I want to say, even though these are placeholders, is the Vitality era over is still, in my opinion, the biggest and most interesting question to be asked and answered in the second season of 2026. Why? Because the last team that existed in this capacity crumbled because of COVID, not because of anything else, right? We went online, things started to disintegrate from there. The circumstances got out of control for everybody in the world, and Astralis, the light just kind of went out on them, and it has deteriorated into this weird thing over all these years. It's a mutant ending. It's not a nice ending. It's not a clean-cut ending. It's not a drama-filled ending. It's just the world stopped, the circumstances changed, and the greatest Counter-Strike team of all time, at least up until that point, was done. So the Vitality question also frames it from the angle, is their ability to get back up and continue to be this great team? But that means, is the rest of the field primed and ready to take it to them? And that's why I think it's the biggest question, because you could focus in on any other name, but no other name is as paramount to our understanding of Counter-Strike right now as Vitality. I rest my case.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking back at just where Astralis, comparison is like, it is kind of true. Like in my head, I was like, did COVID really end it? And like I found this 2019 end of season recap, and Astralis win a title at the end of the year. What was this? IM Beijing, right? So
they beat 100 Thieves in the final.
Yeah, so they were like, I'm not saying that they weren't in 2019. They weren't that, super dominant, whatever, like 2018.
They won both majors, everybody, in 2019, just to be clear.
Yeah. But
they won both majors.
The end of 2019 was really strong, though, because they won kind of like 5 of 6 months in a row or something.
They're still there for sure. And then 2020 kind of evaporated.
I mean, 2020, they were still, like, people forget that, like, in the first half of the year, they were still up there.
I think for us, they were still the team of the year in 2020,
I think so, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I completely agree. I think this is the biggest story. There's going to be a development here, either
one way or another.
They aren't, or they are making history in a new way, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Where do you land on this, Striker?
Yeah, for sure. 100% big thing to answer today, or not today, this season.
Now, I have Falcons a one-time thing. That's not necessarily just the major victory. That is like tournaments themselves. Was this just the peak? Carrigan got some pieces. They were grooving in a honeymoon phase. They all played to the peak of their potential. The stress was a little bit lower. They got Nico his major. We had that storyline. But that for me is why I've put Falcons a one-time thing here as this, because if they are able to be in events, and we already know they can because they did before, right? Make it deep in semifinals, in finals. So we know that they can be competitive. Now it's more about, can they be competitive to the point of actually winning trophies? Because that was one of the biggest problems with these guys. And if they do, then we start getting in a really fun conversation where Vitality, Falcons, Spirit, all 3 of them are in that like little trifecta of who can beat who at any given event. And it feels like we're back in a competitive landscape. But I don't know if this is the second biggest question that needs to be asked and answered of the season. Is there a bigger one here?
I just had a thought. It's like, you didn't help yourself when it came to like just like screenshotting this out of context, because it's like, is the Vitality era over? Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's not going to be helpful. I can tell you that.
If I'm completely honest,
it's going to go up
if
there.
I'm completely honest, we might as well give our answers. Why not? I think it would be fun.
Okay, so you want to give an answer?
Let's build the questions first, and then we can also give our.
All right, I'll remove the things for now, and we'll build the order, and then we'll do it after. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then I'll put prediction on this side too. Okay, so what do we think is the second biggest question?
I'm
open to anything, guys. You can go anywhere.
I'm just thinking. I'm thinking.
I know I've thrown this on you, and I had time to think about this because it's my fucking concept. But like when I'm just thinking about what I'm interested in, it's can Falcons win? Because they struggled to win. Fuck.
I mean, there's maybe a question about. I mean, it kind of depends on Vitality era being over, but then that.
But not
opens
necessarily.
No. Just saying for my thought, which I didn't say yet, is like the player of the year kind of conversation. Can that reopen through Donk or Monacy and through Vitality not being good? Like that's an interesting angle, but I don't know how I would frame that question exactly.
Okay, but it's something Falcons related.
I mean, it's player related, I guess.
I think if the first one, look, if we get the yes to the first one, then the second one is so who becomes the best team of the second season, right? Which is kind of like, let's say, between the Falcons and Spirits, probably realistically at this point, right? Because I don't know if we expect anybody else to have a really good shot at that title, at least.
Yeah.
So I think that's the second. That's kind of like the second question, because obviously depending on the first, but on the second is so who would be the team to pick up the most titles.
I see what you're saying, but I guess the problem is because we're coming into the season with Falcons as the current reigning major champions. So right now, the Vitality era is measured over a longer period of time.
Sure.
But the demise of the Vitality era could be happening now and we don't know it.
Yes.
Right? Whereas Falcons winning again, we're going to find that out in a couple of weeks' time when they start playing these events, right? So the Vitality one we're measuring over a longer period of time, I suppose. The Falcons one we're only measuring over these next 6 months. But I guess what you're saying is depending on the outcome of how it's not it's exactly what you said. Depending on the outcome of if or how we vote for this would set the second question. But ignore the voting. What are the questions as they stand right now? Because we would be doing predictions and then we're kind of basing the future off of predictions we made. We have questions that are based on the now coming into this season. So
I think the second one is still okay, like in terms of like framing it around Falcons, because I do think that is a big question to answer in this in the second season, because we thought going into the major that Kerrigan could work, but then they showed like they won the first, well, not the first event, but second event together, right? So I think it's always going to be like, can they keep that going in some way? One-time thing obviously seems harsh. It feels like they're bound to win something else, regardless of whether they're actually like legit.
As well, though, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's. I think that's I think it's a reasonable question.
Because one thing that you need to look at how close the major run was. I understand that they played only good opponents, but a lot of those. What was the game against Vitality? All 3 maps, 13-11.
Yeah.
Also, it wasn't the second. There was a third tournament, right? They played Astana and then they played the China event, and.
Yeah, 2 finals and then one, yeah.
But I think maybe a question could be FaZe. Like, can FaZe be I don't know, relevant team? Can they be like not even a contender, but like, a
even
playoff?
if it's just
contender is a little too far.
But aren't you interested? So you're probably interested one way or another, right, Prof, in what happens with FaZe?
Yeah.
So I guess we could just say broad. What happens to FaZe? Right? Because
I think that is
they're one win away,
yeah.
boys. They're one win away from being back in the bubble. Now, would we put that as the third? The BCG one here is pure.
Well, let's write
bait. 5
and then we can move around, I think.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because the BCG one I think is interesting.
Yeah.
But it could wither away in very uninteresting fashion.
Yes, we might not even see them play at all. That is very possible. Okay, so we need one more. What are you interested in the most?
The next two would probably be where this Aurora team goes and like how relevant will Navi be realistically, like after not changing. Because I think everybody's kind of
in the combo here, though.
Right. Well, yeah, but then that's like for me, that's sort of like they're always going to be around, you know. Like I don't know if I have like a specific question about Spirit. Like,
Can Donk break more records?
I have one here that we might be able to do. So occasionally when I do
Oh.
check Twitter, check this
What
one.
about Halley versus Thoughtfic?
Tell me how this sounds as one. So Duncan made a tweet knowing Zywoo, Donk, and m0NESY are all on real contenders again is big for the marquee matchup hype of this second season. That's an exciting angle there. Like that's an exciting question to be. This is a perfect time. Striker, with the first season done, if we ended it right now, Zywoo wins without a doubt, right? Best player in the world.
I haven't looked super deep into how everybody's been doing, to be honest. So I don't want to.
Damn, we almost got him, Prof.
Soundbite out there.
We almost got him right there.
Because I have no idea. But I assume he has. But
It's pretty, yeah. It's
pretty one-sided right now. But I think you touched on this before, Prof. Does the conversation for best player in the world open back up again in the second season?
Yeah.
That's an interesting question.
Can we reopen? Yeah, maybe that's the question. Can we reopen the player of the year conversation? Or will we?
Will we? We'll go with will. Okay. Cable's in the way. Here we go.
What cables are in the way of your...
My mic cable. I
okay.
unplug it every time we're done. I unplug a lot of shit every time we're done. I don't like certain things on my desk. I'm a freak. Okay. Is that a strong 5?
Not a bad one. Not a bad one.
Like the fact we're still interested in FaZe just shows you the power of that org, and the fact that we're interested in BCG tells you the power of the Mongolian players in simple.
Yeah.
Because I'm interested in Spirit, but I don't know. I don't have a question that needs to be answered about them.
I have maybe a different angle. It's not necessarily a top 5, but I think when you think about like improving teams and new teams emerging higher on the ranking, it is mostly dictated by signings, and also signings of like big names.
Yep.
And obviously we saw the sticker situation, which means less money and less likelihood of big changes. But my question is like, who's gonna be the next team to make a big signing? Like who is gonna be who's gonna sign the next upcoming star or current star to shake up the scene, because it's so extremely stale right now. Like we have had a year of like nothing, like since Falcons finished,
at least,
since Falcon got Nico and m0NESY together.
And Kiyosuke, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess Kiyosuke was the last big signing, and that was like a conversation point.
I mean,
for
Kerrigan
a while.
was still a huge signing, but that's realistically the only one.
Yeah, but also it's kind of like
you can't
more
say
of a
that
gamble
after
signing.
they just won a major with him.
No, but no one was talking about Kerrigan. It's like, oh, where's Kerrigan going next? Which team is going to get Kerrigan? It's like it's a time and a place signing. It worked only for them, and most other teams are not like, oh my God, we lost Kerrigan, we could have got Kerrigan. I don't think Spirit, whatever, Vitality, who's on the list, FURIA even are thinking like, oh my God, we missed out on not getting Kerrigan. He is a signing that could only work for Falcons. So, but yeah, I think that's just a thing that I have in my head, just like who is next to make that move.
As you can see here, I created another slide for this, which is kind of like you get to do your own coloring in. So it's called honorable mentions. I thought that was pretty good. So if you had anything particular here, would that be it, Prof?
I would put that. Who's going to make the next?
Which team?
Who's going to next? Well, which team is going to make the next blockbuster signing?
The next blockbuster signing. Okay, so that's your like personal question for the season.
Yeah.
But if you had to have an inkling, do you have an inkling? You feel like it has to be now, Vita. Well,
that's what I was thinking. It's gotta be. It's just gotta be.
I mean, but based on what we know, it might be Aurora.
True. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Striker, do you have one that's like a question that you have?
I generally I thought like a big question of the season generally is Aurora. Like, is this going to work? Is this not going to work? Because I think they made the biggest change of they are kind of like the highlight change of the season. So I think it makes sense to look at them as like the biggest question mark of the season at the moment about whether the international move is going to work or not.
Okay. So is the international move worth it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, I have one.
Okay.
Oh, you muted?
No, I just typed it. I typed,
Yeah.
will Fallen actually retire?
That's
I got my reservations.
Okay.
I got my reservations.
Do you
never
have
know.
any how do I say
Intel?
reasons
No,
for this, or just a hunch?
It's just how emotional you see the guy about the whole thing, right? And to go from like this being your life for the better part of 20 years, obviously only the last maybe closer to 15 with being at nonstop, but to get off that roller coaster and to make that adjustment, it's fucking a massive adjustment, especially for someone as like prolific as Fallen.
retire. Like, is it just active player or
No, like if he's not playing tier 1 CS anymore, right? If he's not in FURIA, right? Because he won't be in another top team if he's not in FURIA.
And he will not
would he
go
be
to
retired
coaching,
if he
clearly. Like,
coached?
I
He's not
don't
gonna
think he
coach,
wants
like-
to coach.
And
like
if
if he
changed?
retires, he's out of the like competition scene, let's say.
Lucas,
both as a player or
just from
coach.
what we understand, it seems like he wants to be in one place more and spend time with his family more and maybe start his own family. That's kind of what the vibe is. That's what it kind of feels like. So that's why it would have to be a retirement. It couldn't be like a in-between type retirement. But he could be, but I don't think he needs to. I think Fallen will probably be pretty comfortable. Okay, one more slide. You
Okay.
guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the prediction. So our time capsule this year, and it's because we've gone back in time. We've gone back to BC. So we don't have but the technology is not the same. You've seen us time traveling. We've gone everywhere around the world, and now we're back in the Greek period.
Why are you holding a goat?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It's, we're having a good time. You guys are pondering, and I'm holding the goat. And with us right now,
Goat whisperer.
we've got only 4 questions that need to be answered. So here are the 4. Teams most likely to make a change, team to miss the major winner, and the major MVP. So, Prof, unfortunately for you, you're the closest to this list. So you're going to go first. You're going to tell me.
And
we'll go
team
across.
most likely to make a change. Team most likely to
Are
make
we
a
going to get
change.
baited into Navi again?
Team most likely to make a change in this season is a bit of a shocker. I'll say G2.
G2. All right. Any reason? You just don't think this wrinkle thing's going to work out?
I just think something's off. I don't feel it. I don't think it's necessarily a wrinkle that's going to be changing, but they have been like a bit of a revolving door over there recently.
Okay.
So I feel like it's going to continue.
Interesting. Now, Striker, you can't get in before me because I'm number 2. So I'm going to snatch this one. And this is more of a hope. Oh, fuck, I have to Google it. Because the HLTV ones, whoever works at HLTV, if any of those people can hear me now,
Is it mouse?
and Navi.
Okay.
You can't copy
I know
the
I have
Navi
the
one.
same thing with like graphics and stuff, but you can still copy it. It's just from no, you can't. Actually, you don't have access to that. Never
I
mind.
don't have access.
Well, you should be able to.
No, you can't.
There is.
You
It's
can't
like a
into,
different
like,
image format.
Yeah,
That's why.
yeah.
Certain teams are just different formats. Yeah.
We'll
it
give
happens.
you social media access, so you'll be able to get.
Okay.
Thank you.
I feel like it's kind of a shit answer for me, but I would go with FaZe.
Okay. Well, it feels like a technicality answer.
That's what
and
I mean.
I will give
but
it to you.
I don't mean that they will confirm Nature. I just mean somebody else will go out.
Yeah,
So
okay.
not
There's
the
gonna be
nature
another-
spot in general.
Not the Nate, like whatever. It could be that they sign Nature and then kick Jacob, whatever it is. But like, I mean they will be a different roster than Frozen Twist, Nature, Jacob, J Boan before the end of the season.
Okay.
But do you also think? Okay, I'll accept it.
That's fair.
I think we should do a snake draft. It should be now Striker again.
Yeah,
then
Striker
you, then
goes
me.
again.
Okay, team
so
to miss the
strike-
major.
Yeah.
Okay, let me think about that for a sec. Everybody can think about that for a sec.
I'm doubling down on last season, so
Was it
It's-
BC or what was that?
It's definitely not Mongols. I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's not happening.
he's deep in. There's a lot of teams to think about here.
Yeah.
There's some easy picks. Now that I'm looking at the
But
list, there's a
I
couple.
don't want to
of
go like
cheeky,
down there,
easy.
you know.
Yeah, but there's some that people would expect to be there in stage 1 that I think you could pick, and that's fine. Like, I don't think you're doing anything wrong by doing that.
But I
Because-
think it's boring.
Well, but you're not gonna sit here and go, actually, maybe you could say Aurora aren't going to make the major. You could say that.
But I'm
FOKUS.
thinking about somebody who's not like, top 40 right now.
Yeah.
It's just like the
Well, what about,
100
like,
thieves,
Foot? Like it could fall apart for Foot, or it could fall apart for Bait, or it could fall apart for Gamer Legion, 3D Max, Luminosity, Heroic. They're 31st in the world right now.
Fuck.
Like his luminosity, like it just feels cheap.
I will go somewhat deep, and actually Foot I really like, and not necessarily for the reason that I think they'll get worse. I just think that somebody will steal one of their players. Like they will just not be as good because they're gonna get like one of the key players stolen from them, and so they're just gonna end up missing out.
The Foot to miss the major.
You think Foot will miss the major?
That's all right. He's made the claim. Made the claim, and it's a little bit braver than where I'm going.
I just don't. That's the thing. Like, I just don't want to go with like fucking 100 thieves that didn't make this one, and they're not in a position to be in the next one still. So like, that would be boring.
There's another one here that you can add to your list. So we got Mouse. We've got the Na'Vi logo. You can also add the big logo to your list because that doesn't fucking work either. So here we go. I had to go get that from somewhere else. Thank you very much. Other websites. It's barely showing there. I'm gonna have to put it like there. So big to miss the major. Or I'll put them over here. You can see them a bit better over here. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just staying on that. Like I didn't think they played well at the major. I don't think they played anybody good at the major. And people wanted to be high on them and say this is a good team. And I don't think that is. I don't think they're a good team. That's just my take. Prof?
NIP. Not a big shocker, but
they weren't even at the
whatever.
major last time.
Yeah, but I think it's still I think that's a better pick than Luminosity, for example.
Okay. Are they moving further away from the major than they were before, or are they getting closer?
They're at the same distance.
Same point. Okay.
Close enough to be disappointed.
All right. Okay. Major winners. Who do we think is going to win the major? Prof, you go first. We haven't even seen any of the good teams play this season besides.
Yeah, that's why it's a season. That's why we're here at this table predicting. Let me see. Let me look at the pictures. Let me get some like
you want me to,
visual
I'll hold
stimulation.
A logo up. You go yes or no.
Vitality.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is this based off of though?
Well, it's I don't know. I don't think there is like an obvious choice.
Do you think they turned it around?
This is why I was looking at the pictures. I was looking at the pictures. I was like, I opened up on the ranking. I looked at Spirit. I was like, Shiro, Magic, Stenier, Donk. And then I saw Zontix, and I feel like it's not. I feel like it's not going to work.
Okay.
I feel like it's not going to work for this one for Zontix. And then I was like, Falcons.
What does that even mean?
Specifically Zontix.
What does that mean? Yeah,
He's
I think for Zontix, it's not going to work out.
He's
for the
just
kid.
not giving me Singapore major winner. He wasn't giving me. The rest were. He wasn't for some reason.
Okay.
And then I was like, Falcons.
This is like, bro, this is
I look
like...
at the Falcons pictures, horrible phone pictures. Like, what even is this? Not serious organization.
True. I can totally
Can't win a major. Then I was like, Vitality.
I see a shadow over Falcons' faces.
Vitality will have this like, very kind of shit season. Everyone's going to be like, oh, Vitality's out of it. Everyone's winning tournaments. Spirit won 2 tournaments. Falcons won like 1 tournament. Mouse won a tournament. And then Vitality will have this like shadow rise off of like the Asian tour.
Okay.
Out of the darkness.
The Beijing into Hong Kong into the Singapore win.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going
You just scoffed at the idea that Vitality will win a major.
Yeah, that's also the funniest thing is like, what are you basing Vitality winning the major on here, you madman?
No, but I just want to get to like, you need some rationale, no matter how crazy.
No, that's
right.
It's fine. That's fine.
And you said something about Zontix, so I'm saying the opposite. This time it's Zontix season. All right, I'm going for Spirit to win the whole thing. They're going to return. Last time they won a major. Where was it? Shanghai. What's the time zone? GMT +8. How close to Shanghai are they in Singapore? Closer than they are if they were in Cologne. I can tell you that
Chinese fans,
for a fact.
Zontix
Yep.
can harness that power.
He's in heaven. He's having a great time. They're out there. Everyone's having a good time. It's a vibes. It's a return to the vibes for Spirit to win. So I'm taking some prof analysis there. Striker, finally, who you got?
I wanted to say Spirit as well, but I'm like, I have to pick a different team or what?
You don't have to.
I think you do.
But that doesn't make any sense.
Maybe
I
you
will not
don't.
have rationale behind it.
Okay, if you can pick the same team.
I'll do
it's kind of...
Okay, all right. We'll give him Spirit, but we'll do this, Prof. We'll give him Spirit, and I'll say I was feeling generous because we want this to look at the end of the year when we get clipped again that we look.
Somebody will
like
always be wrong.
Like we're geniuses, right? So we want to do this. This the three best teams right now. Like we're all like we've all picked a party, right? We've all picked a party, so that's fine. Okay, major MVP. I guess that's going to have to be based off of who you think is going to win the major. Well, not necessarily, but so for you, Prof, I would say you think it's Zawu.
Well, it's
well, that's right. Just Striker's pick.
Striker's turn.
Yeah, you pick a Striker. Donk. Okay. All right.
Can't really predict in Spirit.
No, he's pretty good.
Else to win,
yeah, not everyone's heard of him yet, but he is up and coming. I think that probably by the end of this season, people might know who Donk is. I reckon people might know the guy's name. Go like that big. Look at him. He's right there. There he is. Okay, then it's me. Oh, I could really.
This is the third time in a row that I predicted Sprint Donk to win the MVP of the major.
You'll be right eventually.
It's a good shout. It's a good shout.
But once I didn't pick Spirit to win, I said somebody else was going to win, but he will still win the MVP.
All right, I'm going to go back to back for Ilya the Kid. Back to back. And I control the sizes, so he's going to be a little bit bigger than Donk.
It's going to come down to like Kiyosuke and Monase. Chinese girls all over the arena are going to be losing their minds.
They're going to be having a great time. They're going to be having a great time. Okay.
And I'll pick Donk as well.
Whoopa.
Okay.
That's my strategy. Fuck off.
You can have him. That's fine. You're allowed to have Donk. He can be in two places at once. It's the power of TV or internet. Okay. All right.
Power of the broadcast.
These aren't as... last time I did questions that we did like which team is going to be the breakout of the season, which team is going to be the breakout, or who's going to have the breakout player and stuff. But it's like this season has felt not underwhelming, but just like everything's felt a bit mild. There's nothing. I'm not excited. It's just that there's not as much leaping off the page in terms of what's obvious or what we should.
That many new players coming in as well, like in terms of like big promotions and stuff. Like you could say, one of the Mongols guys could be one of them, right? But then you kind of lose it very quickly because like PR we've already known about. Can you even say it? Like he could be the breakout player if he has a really good season, Not really sure about that. So like who else would you even pick in that category? It's kind of tough.
But I think one thing we do before we close it, because we're over time right now, but one thing we do before we leave is the question about vitality. Is the vitality era over? I think that's a good one that we could all have our opinion on right now, based off of the limited information we have this season, but just based off of how we saw the major go down, what we saw in the online game, how we feel things of the past are going to play into the present. Do we think that other teams are good enough to let it no longer be a dominant period? All of this factoring in. Yeah. Let's just spend a bit of time discussing that, and then we'll get out of here. That seems like the best way to deal with this, and then the Counter-Strike starts tomorrow.
The shortest way to put it, I think it will be like a parity season. I think there will be a lot of different winners at different times. I think teams have
like a 2023.
I think so, yeah. I mean, but this is just for this next 6 months, right? I do feel like it's going to be, one team winning 2 or 3 tournaments, other team winning 1 or 2 tournaments, and between the top 3, and there's going to be a few, odd ones coming in as there usually are, especially with, some of them missing all of the competition. There's like some like Starlighter, for example, having super stacked competition, but it's just an 8-team tournament. So I think there's going to be a few weird ones coming in. But overall, I think in that way, I think it will all come up to the major in the end, like how we remember if this was the end or not. I think Vitality will win something, but I don't think it will be more than like two or three events max.
I'm sorry, I don't want to. I know we're wrapping right now. Did you guys see this news? Just came out now. Flit has joined PARIVISION, replacing Hobbit.
Oh, we don't know who, do we?
Replacing Hobbit, I'm pretty sure. From what I'm looking at right now.
Where does it say that? Doesn't say anything.
I don't know. It is Hobbits.
It is Hobbits.
Let's fucking go, bro. PARIVISION's so back. PARIVISION's so back.
I thought Hobbit did fine at the XSE event. I guess like Flit is younger and he does have good output.
Bro, if you're putting Flit against Hobbit, I'm taking Flit every day.
No, that's fair. That is fair. It just feels a bit, sucks a bit for Hobbit. Really, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like,
I think the announcement when he came in, I think he knew it could have been just like a temporary thing. But this is, for me, this is fire. Flit has been a bit, obviously disappeared, and he was also a part of Virtus Pro for so long. But I think he has a lot to offer, so I'm pretty hyped for this one.
Yeah, okay. Sorry to interrupt you there, Prof. I know we were doing the whole rapping bit, but this popped up and I thought, okay,
yeah,
let's get it out there.
That's it. I don't really have much more to say on the Vitality topic. I think just to reiterate, I think that's why the major will decide, if you remember this as like still Vitality's era, but like a bit of a weaker period.
Yeah.
Because if they go throughout this whole season, don't win anything until like, let's say, I don't know, one of the China or Hong Kong, and then win the major, that'll be enough for people to be like, well, if they're still making playoffs and whatever, they're still on it, right?
Sure.
And if they don't win the major, and let's say, I don't know, Falcons wins like 2 tournaments and the major, then obviously the era is no longer there.
That seems fair, right? If other teams are able to drag it down so there's no clear team who's winning the lion's share of trophies, or it's not like, even when you have the winner, you're like, fuck, I want to watch that again. Like, I'd like to see that again next Sunday to see if it's just as close. Or the factor of the games is going to play into it. I think some of the concerning signs for me is what we saw at the majors. Areas of the map pool started to get targeted against Vitality, and they didn't really have responses. Whereas before, we'd look at Vitality and they'd have 5, maybe they'd have 5 maps that you'd be like, okay, you can't beat them on these 5, right? So now it feels like there's maybe 2, maybe starting to become 3 in certain scenarios where, and I understand they've had this down period, they're going to head back up now, and we also have cash coming into the map pool, so there's a lot of development time, but that was a concern for me for them at the major. And then some of the frustrations we're seeing online is indicative for the downturn periods of Vitality, where you see these clear frustrations or these moments where things aren't clicking, right? The thing with Vitality was they were always on the ball. They were making the move. They were one step ahead. The major, that didn't feel like that was happening all the time either. I don't want to really gauge the online game. I don't know if they know how to pick themselves back up because they haven't been in a position like this before, right? So that is where my question about will it continue or not is, does the team know what the shortcomings are and can find the solution in a straight line, or do we now go on this bumpy journey with no suspensions where it is going to get rocky and tempers are going to flare and we do see them bomb out last place of an event somehow, right? So those are the kind of the 2 paths that we could be walking, and we don't know. I think Jack, the sports psych, he's got a big task ahead of him here of how he's going to handle the team culture and get everything back.
I mean, the manager now as well.
True. Yeah, he's doing it all. He is doing it all. Striker, over to you with the puck. That's a hockey reference. I know sports.
Whoa. Where did that come from?
Sports. Just want to show people I'm kind of
the
a
Mighty
man
Ducks
of the world.
Puck specifically, like Australia and hockey don't really go together for
Prof
in my head.
Prof knows. The Mighty Ducks, a great childhood film. Mighty Ducks 1, 2, and 3. Would recommend everyone looking for a sporting film to watch them. They're great. They'll really get you in the feels. Ducks
there used
fly
to be
together.
A team called Playing Ducks.
That's true.
Can you remove Flit from the screen, please? Thank you.
Welcome our new hero. Okay, Striker, what do you got?
Ooh, I mean, look, Vitality's the question about Vitality is going to revolve around what happens with these, now 2 babies coming into the team. Like that's a big thing to happen at the same time. And I'm curious, how that's going to affect Apex. We obviously know what his work ethic is like, and he's going to be on the ball. But that's a big life situation to come in and suddenly change, right? And then that to be the case with the second player inside the team, that is a lot. That is a bigger impact on the team than I think people might realize. So I wonder, how much they're going to be able to put in as much effort as they would otherwise, to picking themselves back up, because it's probably a lot easier to keep riding the wave in that situation rather than finding solutions to actually come back up to the same level that they were at before, right? Because that generally takes more effort. Of course, like you still have to put in a lot of effort, and that's something that Vitality were always good at. just making sure that they're updating their game. They have so many different plays. They always come up with something new going into new tournaments, and that's why they stayed ahead of the competition. But also, they just had the players in the right position so much that like they could just ride the wave and they would be fine with that. But now they're not in that position anymore. So it is going to take the work, and that's definitely going to be impacted. How much? That's to be seen. But I do think that's like, I agree with Prof. I think they're still going to be dangerous. They're still going to win a tournament or two or a couple tournaments, but I don't think they're going to be the indomitable force that we saw for the better part of the year, last year and a half.
Yeah, it's hard to live up to that, right? They've kind of set the standard, so it's going to be tough. But Prof, you did just point out something that I think that you should look at getting as a sponsor for HLTV. Lucas, I want to share my screen one last time. Does anyone have anything they want to say before we go? No, everyone's happy? Okay, this is for free. The taglines are there. I've been trying to tell ESL to do this for years, but not that they don't want to do it. Maybe they haven't tried. Maybe they haven't reached out. But Prof, this is what you at HLTV should try and do. And you pointed out the problem. It's the focus. Actually, no, Striker, you pointed out the problem. Excuse me. Here it is, everybody. Bring this up, Lucas. Let everyone at home see. Now, the logo is wrong. We will be able to fix that. Lucas, you're making me look like a fucking idiot here. There it is. So, guys, for those of you who don't know, that right there would be a condom packet, right? It does say condom on it, just in case you can't read. But if we had the HLTV logo there, and we had a better like tagline, like, I don't know, never go into battle without
check your corners thing is about. I don't know.
Yeah. What if it was always go into battle or never forget your head armor?
Okay. Right. That's a good one.
Right?
That's a really good one.
Always buy head armor. Okay,
And we can have, you need to get this license from Valve here, Prof. But what you can do is, so you get like a pack. I don't know, how many do condoms come in? Like 12, or I haven't bought them in a while. Guys, I don't have safe sex. Or I don't have sex at all. Which is it? The angle here is, there's all these different skins are made into the condoms, right? So you might get like a Dragon Lore one or a Howl one, but you also might get like a P250 Sand Dune one. And they're just the patterns of the skins on the condoms, and they're random opening. So you don't know what you're going to get. One night you're going to bat with a Deagle Blaze. The next it's a USP Whiteout or something, right? And you just
what if you use you use you get a Dragon Lore, but you use it for like the wrong person or the wrong moment?
Yes.
That'd be such a shame, no?
It would be.
I was just gonna say, like putting weapon skins on a condom is probably the best preservative that exists ever, because you're never having sex pulling that out on a girl.
That's the only 100% way. That's the only
100%.
Yeah.
Functional preservative.
Guys, we made
What are the odds?
We did. What are the odds?
No, on the that you never mind.
What are the odds?
Let's just take it. Think about it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know why nobody but the Chinese major did condoms in Counter-Strike. I think people should really, the majority of the audience is men, and the teenagers into young adults. What do they need? Safe sex. When do we want it? Now.
If teenagers are going into young adults, yes.
Normally that's how it works. All right, everybody. Guys, we're out of here. We've done another episode of HLTV Confirmed. We missed some details about some teams, but the LAN Counter-Strike starts tomorrow. So tune in. Big shout out to skins.com. It's peer-to-peer, no fees. Check them out if you're in the marketplace for some skins and stake. Remember to gamble responsibly. We'll be back with another episode once Blast Bounty concludes. Enjoy the Counter-Strike tomorrow. Goodbye.
The biggest news roundup, exclusive insights, all delivered to your inbox. Sign up to the HLTV newsletter today.
Today's HLTV Confirmed episode is brought to you by Skins.com. Skins.com has 0% transaction fees, plus a dedicated instant sell feature when you need cash fast. To start trading, just click login, sign in using your preferred method, and sift through the 50,000 plus skins already listed. Not to mention multiple deposit methods including crypto, bank transfer, Apple Pay, and many more. A profitable trade is merely a few clicks away.